Hello everyone and welcome to State of the Realm, your weekly Final Fantasy XIV podcast. This week, the final of the 3 fan festivals has now concluded, and we've got a lot of things to talk about. I think it's pretty simple. That's it. That's we don't need to go into specifics in the intro. We got plenty to go into during the show. So, let's get started. I'm one of your hosts, Michael, Mr. Happy, Poveromo. Of course, joining me is Slyh, aka Slythefox, aka Slyh, Akagrefox, aka you my boy Blue. How you doing?
Why, hello, motherfucker.
Slyh, we just started the show. Don't be so inappropriate. That's not saying anything is not an answer. And just looking at me. They can't see you looking at me yet.
That's fine.
That's fine? Alright, as long as the point is made, I suppose. That's the Italian way of doing it. But we couldn't just do... Yeah, you gotta just you just look at them and they know, like, you fucked up, you're going in the ground. Like, that's how it works in Italian families. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But anyway.
Submit shoes?
Yeah, exactly. So, and, you know, we can't do this show, just me and Slyh alone on such a big day. We need to make sure we drag the show on as long as humanly possible, so we have a couple of guests. One of them is my fellow partner in crime in terms of being wrong, and that is, that is Merri.
Hi! Very wrong.
Very wrong. Yeah. Yeah. That's, well, you know, that's fine. That's fine. We can live with that.
Yeah.
We've still got plenty of time to be right about things at some point.
Blitzball.
Yeah. Let's not. Please. Yeah. And then we have the smuggest man of all time. We almost had to change the title card to say Smug of the Realm because he's so smug about all of his predictions that he's the embodiment of smug. His name is Ethys the Moon Man Asher.
Hi everybody. Hi, how's it going?
So Bay, how does it feel to be on the winning side, on the right side of things?
You know what? I'm not all about that. It's it doesn't really matter who's right or wrong.
Really?
How does it feel to have insider sources?
It's not important. It's not important who's right and who's wrong. What's important is that we got a samurai DPS.
Which we'll be able to talk about plenty in a little bit. By the way, now because you had a mug, you're smug with a mug, by the way. It sounds like a shitty Dr. Seuss book. And by shitty Dr. Seuss book, I mean
someone get to work
Dr.
on that.
Seuss book.
Please get to work on that, somebody.
Yeah, somebody please get to work on the GIF of Smug Ethys. And that could be the name of the emote. Ethys Smug. You do it the other way around. Because now all 4 of us on the show are partnered on Twitch, although one of us found out a very odd way.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
I know, right? Grats, Bay.
That would be Ethys, by the way.
Grats, Bay. Woo!
That's why he's extra smug.
Oh yeah, no, that was surprising, wasn't it? Yeah.
You're like, oh, they're telling people all the new
Oh, is that? Did they get that right? Is that a misspell?
So before we go any further, everyone may remember that I refused to celebrate the 100th episode of State of the Realm because the 2-year episode is coming
You
up.
forgot the hats!
Wait.
There's water in this, or I'd use it as a hat. That probably wouldn't end well. Oh, there you go. There you go. That's perfect. That's perfect. There you go.
Yeah.
And as such, we've taken a few steps. My glasses are phasing through reality. What's it called? We've rebranded a little bit. The rebrand isn't 100%. Shut the. I will punch you in the mouth at this. Anyway, and I have access to you. I have access to you in about.
I didn't fucking say anything.
In a few days.
But you were fucking flexing. Alright, I just reset my camera, so no signal. Everything's going on. So that was going to be the very next thing that came out of my mouth. So because of the change in everything, a lot of my scenes have been completely screwed up, as some people will know from the pre-show. So expect there to be a lot of incidents over the course of the next however long. And you know what's even worse is it's not even telling me that one of my sources is even available. There we go. I like how I try to fix one thing and everything just breaks. All I wanted to do was replace overlays. And before the show, everything went wrong. During the show, it's going to happen. As was the fair warning. But we have...
Days without incident, 0.
Oh, that's going to be 0 for a while until I get used to going through all of these, because...
That's what the TNT is for.
Yeah, that's what the TNT is for. But yeah, so we have new overlays. We may get some more work done in the coming weeks to keep everything in line. But hopefully you guys like the new overlay. We even have Twitch chat on the screen now. Something that has been long requested because we'll acknowledge Twitch chat and then nobody can read it.
Nobody will know what's going on.
Yeah. No. So now we do know. It also means that I can finally start like actually doing annotations for the fucking YouTube videos because I could just look at the top and be like, all right, we're there. So yay, 2 years. Woo. Flapping my bingo wings real quick. There you go. That's flying, Sly. That's not the same thing. All right. So, European Fan Fest.
It was a thing.
It was definitely a thing. And there was a lot of stuff that we have to talk about. Some of us were right. Some of us were wrong. Some of us were somewhere in between. And some of us are just happy to have had news. Some of us are just happy to have had news.
And some of us are taking the high road.
Yeah, and some of us are absolutely taking the high road. But before we go into talking about anything that we saw at the European Fan Festival, I think it's only fair that we watch the completed trailer for Stormblood, which was something we were on the fence about predicting, like whether or not it would actually be shown. And now we understand why they only showed half of it to us. And we'll be able to talk about that very, very soon. But what do you guys say we take a quick look at the trailer?
Yeah, I'll take a gander.
Take a gander? That's it? Just a gander? That's it?
Just a gander.
Just a gander? All right, well, luckily this scene didn't completely blow up on itself like all my other scenes did. So, let's watch the trailer. All right, and that is the full trailer for Stormblood.
Oh,
Now it's
boy.
trying to take me to one of my own videos, so please stop it. I've seen that video before.
It's telling you to go watch the Mr. Happy video.
I've seen the video that it's linking to. I've already seen that
Really?
video.
Have you?
I've seen it in first person, actually.
How
I'm
was
glad
it?
you have a hat now, by the way, Sly.
Yeah, maybe you should go watch a Mr. Happy video.
That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Mm.
or like watch a Mr. Happy video or get out.
So, thoughts on the trailer? Wow, you guys are fucking
Garly and-
useless.
Garly and Samurai are like stormtroopers.
Well, they look more. Yeah, I guess
They
were
have
like
the
a mix of,
Garlean.
like they had guns.
They
And
got the
ninja.
flag.
Well, they did miss.
Yeah.
They did miss.
They did
Yeah,
miss. They're literally stormtroopers. They just can't
pretty much.
do anything useful. By the way, I would like to point out that slashing 3 bullets in half just means you're getting hit by 6 bullets. Not they don't
That's a good point.
they don't magically not keep going. You know. I just like to point. I mean, the thing is, he slashed through them. He didn't
Yeah.
deflect them. So
Yeah, but I mean, it would take enough
But
momentum.
they didn't hit them. They didn't hit him though.
Exactly.
thank you for that observation. I'm aware of that.
Also, you slowed them down enough that they wouldn't like pierce you if they did, right?
Right.
I guess
Right.
that's gonna be.
Mm.
He cut their swords in half too.
They, did,
Yes,
they
he
didn't
did.
do the Wilhelm scream, so they're
Yeah.
not still.
So, up until this point, we've never had a trailer show us a new job. I mean, to be fair, we don't have a whole lot of trailers to go off of. 2.0's trailer, was 5 of the original 7 jobs. Then the Heavensward trailer was just Dragoon. And now this trailer, which was, we were like, oh, this expansion's all about Monk. It's all about Monk. And now the second half is Samurai, and it's like, Monks are like,
I'm sorry, who's we?
well, you didn't think Samurais were going to be in the trailer. You just
I
don't think anybody thought that Samurai.
Well,
would
no,
be in the trailer.
there was nothing to lead us to believe they were going to
Yeah.
throw samurais in the trailer. Nobody, I don't know. Ethys, you never predicted that the second
I
half of
wasn't
the trailer
surprised.
was going to be authored.
Well, I predicted that we were going to author, and
Yes.
I knew that was going to have to be part of the trailer. It doesn't surprise me that it sort of follows that the Far Eastern job gets put in the Far Eastern part of the trailer. I just wasn't expecting to see.
Did you just say the second half of the? No, okay, there you go. Never mind. I was going to take it someplace, but it didn't make any sense after I said half of it out loud, so I stopped the other half. All right. Well, so that's our full Stormblood trailer. I think we all know what the main first topic's going to be. We're going to talk about the opening keynote first, and the trailer going into the new job was really the first things that we spoke about. Now it is Samurai.
Yes.
Merri, would you like to tell everyone what role Samurai is?
And
No. DPS.
There you go.
Sword DPS.
That's okay.
That's
Okay.
okay.
I'm still gonna play it.
It's more than okay.
I'm still gonna main it.
Yeah.
okay, now let's delve a little bit further into what they said after that, because they actually knew what everybody was thinking once this would happen. Oh my God, tears are going to be complete shit. No, they're not.
Okay, I do want to take the time to talk about that. Look, we're moving through these so fast. I've already gone through like my first 4 overlays at this point. It went from introduction to EU FanFest to what part of the EU FanFest talking about to my hot topic for the day. Ethys and Slyh were right. So this is this. I was originally going to name this hot topic "Such DPS, Much Q," and I didn't. I actually made the slide and I forgot to put it on because I didn't think I knew those 2 topics were the same thing, so I just kind of left it there. So that is really the hottest topic. So Samurai, sword type DPS, physical, shares gear with Monk, and has the ability to charge up its sword to unleash a super long charge attack.
So a cast on,
So
probably.
cast time. Or
Well, the one we
it's
see-
either a cast time or it's an animation lock, but you'd think one would be smart.
No, like it. No. It's not going to be an animation lock. It's going.
It's also one of many finishers. The others might be instant. Who knows?
Yeah.
That could be just like a.
They also they have 3 different, and they didn't say they had 3 different forms, but 3 different sword type techniques that they pull from.
Now, do you think? Oh, good.
I was just gonna name them, unless someone else would like to name them.
You
You can even just use their English translations if you'd like.
Yeah, we have Setsu, which is snow, Getsu, which is moon, and Ka, which is flower. Now, do we think these are all
If you played Final
kind of
Fantasy XI,
akin?
you knew that already.
But I didn't. Now, do you think these are all kind of akin to maybe, I don't know, stances or kind of like what Monk has in its...
So I don't think it's going to be like Monk, where it's you just go through the like
forms.
one by one, and then I don't honestly. I had a hard time drawing a conclusion about what to think about these different
Me too.
stances.
They say that they're using them in combination to produce different techniques. It kind of sounds like the Mudra system.
It sounds like skill
I
chains
wanted
me,
to say
but
that it was going to be like Mudras, but I don't think it's going to be Mudras.
I think so. Originally, what I thought when I did think of Samurai, either as a tank or a DPS, my original theory was because a lot of people from Final Fantasy XI have a certain expectation. And let's not kid ourselves. Even though our ninja's nothing like the 11 ninja, even though a lot of our jobs are nothing like the 11 jobs, there are clear overlaps in certain themes and abilities and what they do. So for me, I always figured that if they went with the Samurai option, they'd appeal to the 11 crowd in some way with a skill chain type system, but it only is within the job itself. I'd imagine that you have abilities, they can be executed in any order, but depending on the order that you actually execute them, the finisher, the final third weapon skill has a different effect. So it's almost like when you make the decision as a ninja, you have those 3 different finishers, and they all have 3 different effects, but the first 2 are all the same. I imagine it's going to be something like that, where depending on which one you choose to finish with, the effect that it actually has is different. Whether it's more damage or, a debuff or something along those lines.
Right, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And then as you complete these, you'll get combo point type things, and then you unleash them as the finishers.
Like a little personal limit break bar.
Almost like that, yeah. I imagine
That's what I took
the
as.
amount of the potency on the charge attack is going to be substantial.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that they talked about having like a bar that you charged up rather than having stacks, because that seems like so much more imprecise to me.
Well, for me,
I would prefer the stacks.
I think the reason why they might be moving away from stacks, there's been a lot of complaint where they just keep adding stacks. We also know we're getting the new user interface to track certain abilities like Enochian and Grease Lightning, and that just may be a result of the new user interface and the tracking method. It may track via a bar, so you can see when the energy itself is full.
So what you're saying is we're like our shit's gonna look like Tally's HUD, and we're gonna have like it's gonna look like we're flying.
Well,
we're gonna look like we're flying a fucking.
So in World of Warcraft, it's what's called weak auras, and every job basically has different sort of pop-ups on the screen or things that track abilities or procs. I'd imagine it would look a lot like that.
And I only say that in jest because most of those probably are add-ons to begin with. But again, I always say
let's not use the word add-on on the show. There's enough things people are salty about. The last thing
we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. But like whenever I look at his shit and I look at him tanking, I'm like, is he tanking or is he flying a fucking plane? I don't know what he's doing. I really don't know what he's doing.
The only ignition that you'll ever hear on a Twitch streamer stream is R. Kelly. So, like, there's definitely not any sort of taking off in this case.
But one thing I wanted to kind of, like, when they described the job, when they went into the kind of the details, engage your foe up close using deadly katana, single-handedly deal massive damage. Now, when I think of that, like, when you think of Dragoons, you think of like it's a slow build-up, but it does a lot of fucking damage, whereas a monk is just quick.
Yeah.
What are we thinking for this job?
Slower.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like Dragoon?
Yeah, I imagine it'll be comparable. I mean, here's the thing. When I think of a samurai, I think the strikes themselves are quick, but they're calculated.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
the animations, I expect the animations to be very fast and not heavy. Like Dragoon's animations are all very heavy, minus maybe just Gogol or the newer abilities, the Heavensward abilities are all pretty fast. But I don't expect much weight to be behind these.
Yeah,
if that makes
from what
sense.
we've seen, it's kind of very like flowing and just like kind of
Right.
Now, what are we, in terms of mobility, What are we thinking?
I mean, they got to be able to slash and dash. I mean, they got.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because, like,
Every melee has a gap closer,
Yeah.
so
yeah, every melee has. And I was thinking that we would get a gap closer, but
Ninjas, I only have an official gap.
you're gonna get the thing from the trailer where he dashes forward.
Yeah. Although,
So
to be
we
fair,
get
that
this.
looks a lot like the ability, because we can't show the video because it was a paid live stream, the video where they actually show what the abilities look like. Reminder not to post those videos online, because people will...
Please don't.
Square Enix will be pissed.
Yeah.
I made that mistake
But
with
when
the first Japanese fan festival, and I was so angry, and I was like, all right, well, that's just how it works. So whatever.
But when I saw this, I immediately like drew comparisons to Type 0. It's my baby, and
This is baby.
Of course you did.
it's my baby. Yeah, and Jack. Jack is the samurai. Jack is the samurai of Type 0.
Really?
one-
Jack is the samurai.
Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
Samurai Jack. There you
Okay.
go. One thing about Jack.
Passed.
Back. God. The one thing about Jack I didn't like is like there are two things. One, Jack hit really fucking hard if you leveled him, but at the same time he moves so fucking slow. His mobility was complete shit, and that's one thing that worried me. I'm like, is it going to be like this is 14? I understand that, but I don't want this to be the new LOL goon. I don't want Samurai to be the LOL goon.
I think Red
And-
Mage is more in line for the lull because of the gap closer for me. Like
Mhm.
when I think of that, and we had this joke in the chat before the stream got started, where if Red Mage is the new lull Dragoon, then every time one dies, you just got to roll out the red carpet. That's all you got to do.
Boom.
Boom, done. That's what it's going to be called. We better start coining it now, just in preparation. You know, just you file the trademark. I'll meet with the lawyers.
Why does anyone have to be the new Logoon?
Oh, you're right. We could just let Dragoon keep being it too.
Yeah, don't take that
Okay.
away from us. we got nothing else.
You can share.
Somebody
Got
else.
nothing else. You got a whole expansion.
You can share. You can share.
We're trying to push that over to someone else. Shut the fuck up. Let this ride. Let it ride.
Listen, you're gonna have a nice plush red carpet to die on.
There you go. I don't know anyone refers to a red carpet as plush, but yeah,
Well, I mean, it's a body.
not?
so-
it's a body. Thank you.
Yeah, but that really is my only concern is the mobility of Samurai and
I'd imagine Samurai would be quite mobile.
I don't think it'll be any less.
I don't think
well.
they'll give it a lot of mobility in my head, though. When I think of a samurai, I'm not exactly thinking of someone who's slow. You know,
Yeah.
they just it's fast slashes. I'm just going to just
fast slashes, but yeah, in terms of movement, you know, and being able to do what you do.
Did you see
You're-
move
you're
faster
not
than
William.
bullets?
You're not William. You're not William.
You could be. You could be William.
You could be William.
There you go. So, just to clarify a few little fine details about the job, every katana has its own scabbard in terms of glamour.
So glad.
So glad.
Do
Which
you
is
think
why
they'll
the
actually play
Allegan and the high Allegan ones, which we assume there will be because the job starts at level 50, like Red Mage
Yeah.
does. We
There's a
just-
Moogle one.
should
There's
be.
gonna be, yeah.
Yeah, you know, oh god, Moogle.
And that's one thing I wanted to touch on. Do you think the scabbard will actually play a role into the job and its
I would
abilities?
like it to, but just visually, like it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not going to functionally do.
Probably
much.
like the stun.
If they had been a
Yeah.
tank, yeah, the stun, like he does in the trailer, where he knocks the
Yeah,
dudes
yeah,
out
yeah,
by
Right.
hitting them.
that.
I don't imagine that, like, because when I thought they were going to be tanks, you know, I imagine the scabbard playing a role there. But here, you know, you can
It could still be like the parry animation.
yeah, you know, we'll see. Because, you know, we have great parry animations. That's because parry
We
is
have
so
the best
important.
parry.
Because Perry is
Best
OP.
parry.
Because people love parry.
Parry rework.
Yeah, we didn't get any news about that.
No.
So just like with Red Mage, it's going to be available at level 50. There's no base class.
Tentatively.
Tentatively, we have to keep adding that. Not allegedly here, it's tentatively. And on top of that, just like with Red Mage, after you've cleared the Praetorium and you're level 50 and you've finished, I believe you need to finish, I don't think they've mentioned if you need to finish your level 50 job quest, the original one or not. I don't imagine that matters. You can immediately unlock it before doing your 2.1 story. So if you're a new player and you buy the expansion off the bat and you hit level 50, you can, as soon as you hit that, change to Red Mage or Samurai before doing all your 2.x main story quests that you still have to do because that's a thing. And then you can do your 3.0 story quests. It's almost kind of insulting that you unlock the level 50 jobs before you unlock the level 30 advanced jobs.
Yeah, that is
kind of funny.
weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's a little insulting.
Is this? Do you think this is kind of mirroring the whole jump potion thing?
I imagine that it's just a matter of consistency. Like you hit level. I mean, that's how it is. Again, we're gonna go back to WoW a lot whenever we talk about expansions because it's one of the only other major MMOs that sees regular expansions. You know,
Right.
Not to say that ESO's expansion I think comes out like 10 days before Stormblood or something, but. I mean, like, for them, when Death Knight came out, what did you need to do? You need to get a character to 55, and then you can make a brand new character at 55, and then just play from there. You know, here we don't make new characters for shit like that, so it seems like natural progression as opposed to the way we have it in Heavensward, where they're level 30, but you got to go to the end of the 2.5 and then the beginning of the 3.0 main story to then come back and do 20 levels you just fucking did, and then to go back and now continue your Heavensward. Your Heavensward quests. So it's a little weird. Seems a little disjointed. Just lesson they learned, I guess, about releasing new jobs and increasing the level cap. And then there's always the concern, starting a job at level 50, you know, you get all those abilities at once.
Is that really a concern?
Oh, yeah. Some people cannot handle that degree of information overload. Like, because people just want to jump into the content with the job, and they're like, oh my god, all this text. Whatever, I'll just fucking figure it out.
Oh my god, all these fucking tooltips that I'm not going to read. Oh my god.
Remember, we've had this discussion before. If somebody wants to play well, they'll take the time to learn. If they don't, it doesn't matter if they're level 1 or level 50 or 60 or 70, they will just fucking pretend none of that shit exists.
Yep.
And I imagine both of the new jobs would be pretty simple at level 50 anyway, compared to like jobs at level 50.
Yeah, I imagine that they would be quite simple at 50.
Right.
Please read your tooltips.
Read your fucking tooltips, please.
Please. I'm talking to you.
You specifically.
You.
I know it's rude to point, but I got to make a point here. There you go.
But not you. You're okay.
Yeah, not you.
Not you. You're good. You're good. We're talking about the one beside you. You.
Yeah, this fucking idiot over here.
Ethys.
Such language.
What?
Oh man.
All right. So, Samurai being DPS was only half of the biggest part of the news here. The other half was my confirmed suspicion of only 2 jobs, which by my confirmed assumption, I mean the one that was accidentally backed up on Twitter and that the data leaks implied, and that I had been guessing
They had to
before
take
then.
down
I'm
and
taking credit for this shit.
Okay.
I'm taking credit because I guessed this before the leaks.
Top marks.
All right, fine. Then I'm gonna take credit for Eda being Eda, even though they accidentally named Eda like.
And I'm gonna take credit for fucking Doma.
No, at this guest Doma before you did.
Wait. Tom.
And by the way, I would like to point out.
Wait. No.
Oh yes.
I was the first one to bring this up a year and a half ago.
You did not bring this up a year and a half ago.
Bullshit! You shut that shit down and you said no. Oh my god, Doma's raised to the ground.
No. But I didn't want you to turn Kevin Hart. Oh my god, no.
Oh my god, no.
You know we have this on camera, so somebody can go and do the research. I won't.
Yeah, somebody can go do the research. Like, I remember this conversation and you shutting that shit down. Like, I'm like, okay, I'll concede.
Why are we talking about it a year and a half ago? That's like a month after the expansion came.
Yeah, we were talking about Doma then, but I don't think anyone specifically said all the way back then, yes, in 4.0 we will be going to Othar.
I didn't say 4.0.
By the way, we're also not going to Doma still. We're going to liberate Doma.
Someday. Like, no shit, we're going there someday.
That's why I take Ethys because Ethys said going to Othar.
I said 4.0, we're going to Othar. That's what I
Because
said.
we're not going to Doma yet. We're going to liberate it, but we're going to Kugane.
We're going to Yangtze, and that's where Doma is.
Yeah.
Doma was shown in the screenshot. The town of Doma.
It's got like 2 buildings left. The rest is all fucking ground level.
Yeah. But no, Slythe's
There you go. All right. So this has sparked a really, really big debate in the community. And there's a lot of different sides to this debate, and I'm going to present as many of them as possible. Because Samurai is a DPS, that means the expansion will be releasing with 2 DPS jobs and no tank and no healer. This has led to...
Everybody's going to be fine. Don't freak the fuck out.
No, the game's gonna die.
Okay, well, let's hit these points little by little.
Okay.
The first concern I feel is a somewhat valid one. It's not even a matter of queues. It's tanks and healers feel left out. They feel like because if we go by the theory that tanks and healers are just going to play tanks and healers, which is the next point we'll bring up, then they have their current jobs to look forward to, and that's it.
But
Merri, can I get that as a gift too?
But Yoshi did make the point that they're going to be spending an awful lot of time and resources into rebalancing all of the current tanks and healers.
Oh, yeah.
They specifically said
balance.
Breathe new life into was the exact translation.
Right.
And then they called Paladin by name.
Exactly. Paladin needs balance.
But I'm bringing this
What
up
extra
No,
in there?
actually, the monk needs balance.
I'm bringing
Thank you,
this up as a rebuttal to the feeling left out, in that I think the tanks and healers are actually going to be getting a lot more attention than like current DPS.
In what way?
By that you mean Paladin.
Yeah.
Fine. They use Paladin as an example, but I'm sure to be true of all of them. But I mean, like, they're going to spend a lot more time, sort of, in the micro details of rebalancing those classes and fresh new abilities and new sort of feeling to them.
I hope so.
To say Dragoon or Bard or Black Mage.
Yeah, I mean, there are absolutely people who think they're changing mains now who will change their mind after they play the new jobs and they go, you know what, it's not
This
actually
is what I've been fucking saying the entire time. Everybody's saying, "Oh, I'm changing the fucking samurai to tank." Okay, now it's a DPS. What are you going to do? I'm still going to be samurai. Okay.
No, you're not.
We're still some people will not be.
Some people will be. Some people will be. But
some people will change their main to samurai, and that's fine. That's completely fine. Do you, boo boo? If you really think that this is going to shake up everything, it's not. I just don't see, one, and we're going to go back to the queues because that was one of the main things people were talking about were fucking queues. Queues are going to be fine because people will be leveling their mains from the fucking get-go. 2, for the people who do actually say, "Hey, I want to level samurai first." Queues will still be fine. People are still leveling mains. It won't, and I've kind of conceded to this point that some of the community has brought up. Queues won't be as bad, quote unquote, until maybe I would say the 2nd or 3rd week, when everybody just goes for the new jobs after they finish mains.
And then they'll be shitty for like 2 weeks.
That's it.
Also,
you're dealing with 2 weeks of bad queues. That's not bad. That's not bad. DPS deals with that every fucking day. So shut the fuck up. Suck it up, Buttercup.
Palace of the Dead.
Palace of the Dead. Exactly. You
can just be 4 samurai and 4 red mage or whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's the next thing here is we're talking about what people are going to play 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out. The data from Heaven's Word's launch suggests that...
Are you talking about the census data?
Talking about the census data, and I was just going to take Yoshi P's quote on this, is that even though they introduced a new tank and a new healer in the expansion, the number of people playing those jobs didn't not necessarily change that much.
Yeah.
No!
First of all, I'd like to say that is a horrible backing point for what will happen in a completely different scenario. I believe if you're going to reference...
But is the scenario really that different?
Yes, because...
Yeah.
Yes, because they're taking a sample size from when they've released a tank and a healer. And they're comparing it to their thoughts going forward without introducing a tank and healer. That doesn't happen when you don't introduce a tank and healer. It doesn't stay the same number. There's absolutely migration into the new jobs.
Right here.
I don't think it's going to be that significant. I think
No.
that it's going to be, there's going to be a couple of people that switch their mains. For the most part, people are like, oh yeah, I really want to try Samurai, and they go and play it for like a couple of weeks, and they're like, oh, that's cool, but you know what? I'm a tank, so people sort of naturally.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's put a timeline on things.
Mm-hmm.
Expansion comes out.
Yeah.
You know, people start to level shit, yada, yada, yada. When are we getting raid? When are we getting...
So they haven't told us for certain. We are under the impression there will be the 2-week delay. We do not know if the 2-week delay includes both the normal and savage, or if it will be like last time, it'll be 2 weeks for normal, 2 weeks for savage.
Okay, that's fine. Digging a little deeper. Of that sample size, how many people do you think are really going to switch mains? Like, we're talking about, let's go with the mid-core and hardcore. How many of that sample size do you really think are going to switch mains for raid?
So the
At least
hardcore will
one.
play, the hardcore is the one that's,
all the time.
yeah. So the thing with the hardcore is they will always have 2 or 3 jobs that they can play, and they will sometimes be different roles. So the hardcore will likely level them, and if given the opportunity, main them, which is mostly going to be the DPS changing into other DPS, while the
so get down to the mid-core.
Okay, move down to the mid-core. The mid-core begins to be more of a group that wants to play the job they want to play in raid. That's going to see some shakeup. Some mid-core, they cave to their group's needs, and we need a tank. I've raided with these people for 2 years now, and I'm not going to dick them over even though I want to play samurai, and so that will still see some problem. That's not really where most of the concern is. I guess that the pre-made groups, there's going to be a little bit of shakeup. It's really the duty finder most people are concerned about specifically. A DPS queuing in with no friends, just on their own, and what they're going to have, times they're going to deal with. Tanks, there are some people who may even just go say, fuck it, I'm doing all my roulettes on tanks and healers because I know those few times are going to be fucking fast. And that can counterbalance it, but there's very rare that counterbalances it so much to the point where the DPS queues are reduced to some degree.
Right.
So there's a lot of... Here's the thing, there's so many scenarios here, and there's no way for anyone to know how they play out. Because we don't know the community that well. All I can say is when Ninja came out on its own, holy shit, it was a disaster. For
it
2
will
weeks.
not be that bad. It
But
won't
that's
ever be
because
that bad.
no one was leveling anything else.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. And that's the other thing.
Yeah.
There are going to be people, and 50 to 60 again doesn't matter because everyone's just going to Palace of the Dead, 50 to 60. Let's be real here. Everyone's going to save any recipe XP they have for 60 to 70. But people do have this time. When Ninja came out, again, can't use that to properly describe this for the same reason. Because there were no tanks or healers to level when Ninja came out. It was the only job a lot of people had available to level because they had been leveling shit for a year and a half at that point. That can't be said here, where people do have the new paladin skills, the new warrior skills, the new dark knight skills. Whatever the fuck happens to the healers, who the hell knows? I can't even begin to think of how the healers are going to begin to see changes or consolidations or new UI functions and shit like that. The thing is, we have no reliable sample size where all of the variables line up to judge how this will go versus how it's gone in the past. We can only know that most MMO players prefer to play DPS, which is why they usually vastly outnumber tanks and healers in most games. And that a lot of people are Final Fantasy XI, fanboys like me. I played it for 7 years. I see Samurai Red Mage, I get a little nostalgic,
I was a samurai in 11, so...
There you go. And then you got to concern that because these are really hyped jobs, whereas Machinist and Astrologian, where people weren't like, yeah, they were like, why the fuck did they pick those?
What? Wait, what? Yeah, that was pretty much how they were.
Yeah, they're like, what the fuck is an Astro?
What?
But they're so pretty. There you go.
The cards, though.
Cards.
The cards don't lie. Lot of mercy.
So I think we still have to see how it goes. I think it will be bad for several weeks. I think it will fix itself.
No,
Yeah,
and it's not going to be a long period of time. I'm thinking 2 to 3 weeks max. and then everything will just like shift together, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And it's not going to be as bad as Ninja. Like if you made it through the Ninja apocalypse, you'll be fine.
Yeah, because like we said with Ninja, there was nothing else to level.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
When Ninja was out. So just hold your horses, okay? I feel for the tanks and healers. I feel for the tanks and healers that are upset they didn't get a new job. Just look forward to your new skills.
Please look forward. Be okay, baby.
And next expansion, tank healer.
Yeah. I'm not going to subscribe to that 100% theory yet. I think it's very likely, but I think we're getting about 2 years ahead of ourselves.
Merri's playing the long game on this one. He's gonna we're gonna come back 2 years from now, and Merri's just gonna have the smug.
And he's gonna be like, I said we're doing that a year and a half ago. That sounds familiar.
Damn straight it does.
Phone, please stop it. Oof. Phone. Pahone. There you go. Ringtone. Go away. Okay. So anyway, hot topic. Ethys and Slyh were right, and just to admit that at least Ethys was right because I'm only wearing one shirt at a time. I made sure. This is my homage to you. There you go. That's my admittal of defeat. Admittal. Yes.
That's a word.
Yeah, I mean it's somewhere. It's as much as a word as conversated.
And then I wore this shirt because I was wrong.
Yeah. There you go. Yes, as much a word as conversated. Conversed. Please, I'm just saying that happens a lot. Anyway, so moving on to the rest of the opening keynote. That
was a quick hot topic, though. Yeah, Merri and...
No, that entire conversation we just had was a hot topic. Yeah. I changed it to hot topic like 20 years ago, man. That's it. I changed it to hot topic like 20 years ago, dude. That's all you need to know. All right. So anyway, they spent the rest of their time going over, the next like 30 minutes going over shit we already knew again. This is everything we spoke about at the other fan fests, and once again, everyone cheers at end of PS3 support, and
every time that's going to get like a standing ovation. You know they're going to do a recap every time. So. Yep. There you go. Nothing really new.
Yep. Then they started going over authored stuff. At this point, from this point on, I forgot Alamigo was part of the expansion.
I don't see. Well. Here's the thing. I don't see how people can forget it.
Because this is far... I feel like you took 2 fan festivals to talk about Alamigo, and I don't feel like I really learned a whole lot. And I feel like I learned a lot about author.
I kind of get it. Yeah. I kind of get it, but at the same time, I don't, because it's, one, in terms of lore and story that we've done within the patches, within the content, it's kind of fresh on our minds. We all know about it. We all know we're going there. We all know that we're going to liberate Alamigo.
And we've always known quite a lot about
Yes.
We have a lot of lore there.
So that's not really a surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so that really in my mind is not a surprise that they would shift over to something completely new and surprise us.
Which, by the way, this ended up being my favorite part of all the fan fests, was finding out we were going to authored.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Oh, yeah. That was so cool.
I mean, it's not even just that. Even just seeing that world map expand, to see the Chilean islands to the north, to see Thavnair, between...
After all these years.
Which, by the way, Thavnair is kind of in the way to authored. We're gonna stop over real quick?
I wouldn't be surprised if we stopped at Razad Han. I mean,
stop in for lunch?
Yeah. Can we stop in for lunch?
Like a day trip.
It's kind of like you can't just bypass unless there's some magic that teleports us. I mean, don't get me wrong; those etherite costs are gonna blow.
Oh yeah, it's gonna. You can imagine teleporting from like fucking Kugane to
Limsa or Ishgard,
yeah.
Like to the Churning Mists. I think the Churning Mists might be the farthest point, or the Hinterlands.
Hinterlands,
The Hinterlands
like
would be the farthest
literally on opposite ends of the world.
Now,
Slyh, now you have an excuse for being poor. Okay.
If it was 1.0, that would be like
not really
30 anima.
I'll blow through like teleportation costs like there's no tomorrow. Now, one thing, Ethys, I wanted to ask you more-wise. Hingashi and Doma.
Yeah.
they, in what Yoshi P described, it they take a kind of isolationist stand.
Not Doma.
Not Doma.
No, not Doma. Excuse me, not Doma. Just
Hingashi.
Yeah.
Hingashi.
Just Hingashi.
But really, with the area surrounding it, like lore-wise, how is that possible?
What do you mean? What do you mean? How is that possible?
When you look at the when I look at the map and I see Hingashi,
Yeah.
it's
an island.
It's an island. Yes, I get that.
Yeah.
But it's so close. It's so close to the mainland that it's for trade and everything else to happen. It's really difficult to take an isolation stand.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we have a look at old Charlene in reference to Eorzea, it's actually not that far either.
No.
Yeah.
These distances are a lot further than they seem to be. And I mean, if you think of Japan in reference to like mainland Southeast Asia, it's not that far off the coast.
Yeah, and they were isolationists for a very, very, very. If you look at the shape of Hingashi, and what's the name of the large of the
Bukyo.
Bukyo. There you go. It literally is Asia, just like how Eorzea is literally. I think Eorzea is the same shape as.
I mean, it has Mount Fuji on it. It's Japan.
It literally has Mount Fuji. Yeah.
Eorzea is vaguely the same shape as Africa.
Yeah, Eorzea is vaguely the same shape as and it's funny because the new world, the world we haven't been to yet, would theoretically be the same shape as America.
It is.
It is.
Vaguely. We have seen it.
Oh, that's true.
It has like a north.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but that's exactly what's going on here. Is that Hingashi is Japan and mainland Othard is a sort of China Mongolia sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So riddle me this, Batman. What the fuck is going on with Garlemald in the world map?
What's going on?
Well, so there's actually two major land masses that aren't shown yet. One is Ilsabard, which is between Othard and Garlemald, and then Garlemald's just way to the north.
Well, Garlemald is part of Ilsabard.
Yeah, well, and then but Ilsabard's the Near East.
But why cloud everything
It's
around?
like the north. It's
Because
the
they
north.
don't want us
They
to
don't want to
see
shut.
it.
Yeah.
The Near East is Thavnair.
They don't
When
wanna-
we talk about the Near East, we're referring to Thavnair.
I
Ilsabard
could've
is
sworn it said Ilsabard.
Ilsabard's the north.
Ilsabard is just Ilsabard.
It's the frozen.
I gotta
north.
read my Eorzea book again. I could have sworn Ilsabard was.
It's also all stormy because, like, lore-wise, Ilsabard's a very, very, very
Mess.
yeah. It's not a friendly place. It's very hostile.
And
Bad
you can
weather.
kind of begin to see that as you move closer. Even on Eorzea,
Yeah.
Alamigo is not exactly a very inhabitable area, and the northwest of Bukyo is also very, very.
It's a bit of a fucking mess.
It literally looks. You know what's funny? It looks like the moon on one part of. There's like craters and
About the
shit.
burn?
Yeah, the burn. Literally,
So-
it's got like moon craters and shit.
So that seems to be, we've heard stories about how the Garleans first encountered primals, and there was this big battle
that's
between
where.
the Garlean forces and the primals that destroyed a huge part of land. That seems to be where that was. I thought first reaction upon seeing that, I was like, oh, is that like where Doma originally was, and the Garlands went like nuclear on it or something? But no, that seems to be as a result of their first encounter with the primals.
Boja Citadel.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know. Do you think that's where Boja Citadel is?
This is a giant crater, right? So, like, that's where it just got evaporated.
Yes, but I
Makes
thought
sense.
Boja Citadel was in Ilsabard.
Nope, it's in Othard. It's in the lore book.
Yeah.
So the new city we're going to be going to, alongside we have Ralger's Reach, and now we have Kugane is the far eastern Ralger's Reach. It's a port town.
Port town.
It's very much like Ishgard, where they're just like they don't like outsiders. It's the only port town that kind of allows for outsiders to come in, because like we spoke about the very isolationist mentality over in Hingashi. We get to see it. We got to see it takes a lot of different Far Eastern themes, combines them. Yoshi P himself said it literally combines elements of post-Edo, pre-Edo, and the Edo era, although Samurai itself is a post-Edo.
Yeah,
samurai.
it's taking a unique take on the Far East.
On the Far Eastern culture. I'd like to point out on the world map above Kugane is actually Suzaku, Byakko, Seiryu, and Genbu. Which is interesting to note. Although, to be fair, Godzilla is literally on that fucking map, so who the hell knows?
And Kirin is the Lord of Beasts.
Yeah.
In the East.
So I don't know that. I don't think that's necessarily indicative of of our encounter of them.
Well,
But
I mean, it's sort of it's difficult to say because a lot of this is kind of map flavor.
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
You see this on a lot of old maps. You get like, pictures of mythological beasts and stuff like that. And yet at the same time, a lot of these that we see, we have encountered. Like there's Kraken in the off the east coast of Eorzea. There's the Siren Song.
Bismarck.
There's a siren there. There's Bismarck. There's Leviathan. When we're looking at the 4 cardinal deities, I'm sort of thinking to myself, well, maybe those are like those are like Hingashi's 12.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we have to like put them on the list of like potential primals now, I think.
I think it's fair to do so,
Well,
especially when
yeah.
we get into talking about the new Beast Tribe and their view on Susano. Is that where you're
Well, I
going to go
mean,
with that?
Yeah, and I kind of wanted to bring that up with once we got to the.
You'll bring it up when we get there because Merri wants to make a point.
Well, so we have Kieran, right? And he's a mount.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're going off Final Fantasy XI, where
We don't have to
Kieran's
do that. We're not doing
But I mean, well, the thing is, Kieran is like the lord of all beasts in the Far East. That's what he's known as. And we ride him. He's not a primal. Who's to say that Genbu and Byakko and all them aren't like his underlings as, other like beast demigods.
There are
and
new
they
primal
aren't-
mounts.
And they aren't primals.
They're
Like
just
him.
primal mounts. There are mounts.
No, happy. They're guardian spirits.
Well, I think when we get to talk about the Kojian, we may be able to discuss what they are a little bit. We got to see 3 areas from Authard, the Ruby Sea, which is where the Kojin will reside, but we'll talk about them in a minute. Yanja, or how's it pronounced?
Yanja.
Yanja?
It's
There you go.
Yanja, is it? Okay.
Yanja, which is the region home to Doma, and it's controlled by the Garlean Empire. And we have the Azim Steppe, which, by the way, is I haven't even been there yet. It's my favorite zone. But this is the first time
I mean, it was a bit beautiful.
we learned about the Azim Steppe a long time ago. I believe we learned about it when we learned about all of the Aura tribes, and it's mentioned in a lot of their description.
Yeah.
Which is why they mention that those same nomadic tribes still live there, and we will be interacting with them. Which opens up some interesting, because it'll be the first time we've literally delved into a wild tribe, I guess, in a sense, of the enlightened races. A legitimately wild tribe, like one that doesn't live in a city state with a proper government. Well, they might have proper governments, but
Well, we've got the Sunseekers.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. The U tribe down in.
Yeah, we got the U tribe, and I think this is going to be pretty similar to that. And it is going to be cool that we're going to be able to see like all the different Aura tribes, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a major point of the story. I'm also curious what the large structure will end up what role it will end up playing, if any, in terms
looks
of.
like we've actually got some concept artwork of some more of those structures around, and they seem to be elegant.
No surprises there. We do know that the Allegans did control the Ilzabard, Authard, and Eorzea.
We're seeing like these half these sort of hemispheres, right, that have been like converted into other things, presumably by the Aura. And again, the Azim Steppe. Azim is the Aura sun god, which is absolutely 100% to be confused with Azema. It's the same fucking deity, for sure, no doubt. So we did actually see one whole intact sphere and some concept artwork, and it looks like a deactivated, sort of drained, just completely sort of stone-like ADS.
Yeah.
So it seems that these are...
So remember, guys, when everything's going bad, Allegans.
Elegance.
It's always their fault.
Mm-hmm.
They briefly showed us some footage of these areas. Again, the musical themes on point, visuals on point. And they showed us about as many new regions here as they did in All Amigo. So that lends to the later confirmed fact that the expansion is 50-50 about All Amigo and Authard. So just expect large, expansive areas like Heavensward to be. And don't forget, we still have underwater. Like they haven't begun to really show us any underwater minus like the tiny diving video. So and that's another thing that isn't really mentioned at all is the underwater city. It's not a blitzball arena. Shut your fucking mouth.
It's a
grade
reverse
5 materia.
But happy,
Shut
they
your fucking
confirmed.
mouth.
They confirmed Blitzball in the press conference.
Yes, they said, honestly, I think they were ready to announce it, but they had that struggle they discussed because they told us at the Japanese Fan Festival, there's a reason that we've been giving you Final Fantasy X stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
I mean, it's kind of fucking obvious.
it was. Don't, to be fair, I said I didn't want it. I did say I expected it. So,
Same here. Like, I agree. Like, I don't want it, but it's going to happen.
I want it.
Why? Why?
Blitzball's awesome.
Okay,
Sports ball.
Sports ball.
Before I kill both of you, so Underwater City, what the fuck is that?
It's a grade 5 materia.
Okay, do you want to tell me what it actually is?
I mean, maybe it's the Beastman's little house.
That's what I thought. It was the Kojin.
That's one of them. That's one of them. It could be the Kojin, given that we know that they have like underwater civilizations or whatever. But would they be using the same architecture?
Wait.
Would they
Are
use
we
the
really
same
going
architecture, and do they make a giant air bubble?
Yeah, I'm suspecting that this might actually be where the Doman resistance is.
Yeah.
So
Because
where
it takes
are
you
we?
from Ralger's Reach to this area. And Kugane, it's unclear whether the influence there is, if those are Garlean soldiers inside of Kugane. It's not made entirely clear.
Oh, yeah.
The
It's
thing
on
is,
the helmet.
Kugane is a city we will go to like Ralger's Reach.
Yeah.
So, I guess, it's a question of how much Garlean influence does it, and do we liberate Kugane? Yeah.
I don't think they're
Now, are you sure that we're not linking the Ananta to this somehow, some way, or they just go?
No,
Those are
the Ananta are not.
in the east.
Yeah,
the announcer
They're-
is fine.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
in Abelathius. Abelathius.
They're
They're on our side of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What I think is going on with Kugane and the fact that we see Garlean soldiers there is that Kugane is this open port town at the edge of this very closed nation, right?
right.
I don't think that Garlemald has taken over Hingashi, but I think that they have open access to Kugane in the same way that we as Eorzean.
And then they
So
hear.
I don't think that Garlean presence there is like, the local like Garlean sort of officials or whatever. I think it's literally just like there's Garleans in the town and they've learned that the Warrior of Light is there. They're like,
Yeah.
And they have a suicide mission.
yeah,
They weren't.
They're like stormtroopers. Oh, we can get them. We'll be fine.
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, you're not fine.
No, you're not fine at all.
You will try.
So the new beast tribe that they showed us for, by the way, an allied beast tribe here is going to be way more difficult considering they're across the fucking world. The Kojin are the new beast tribe. They're turtle-like, but not quadavs for you Final Fantasy 11. They're not quadavs. They do not look like quadavs. They do not act like quadavs. They are not quadavs.
I look like God.
No, they do not. They do not have big hulking shells on their back. They're like made of the shell.
They look tiny too, like hunched over, kind of.
Yeah.
Turtles.
So they do have a protective shell. They are found on or near the Ruby Sea. They are skilled traders that welcome dealings with other races.
I wonder if they can be ninjas.
Probably.
Of course, there's going to be a freaking side quest where there's some teenage ninja fucking Kojins.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Kojins. Teenage Mutant Ninja Kojins.
So there's going to be. What you're saying is there's going to be 4.
I got to remake my How to Ninja guide.
Yeah.
Teenage
Wait,
Mutant Ninja
you're
Kojins.
missing the rat though. You're missing the rat. Unless the
It's just going to be like a kicker or something.
Yeah. There you go. Kikrin. They're
And
like
that's
little
going to be their
guys.
beast tribe quest. Is the teenage? It's going to be a group of Kojin who are trying.
I
Yeah.
hope so. I really hope so.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. Teenage Mutant Ninja Kojins. There you go.
That one's free, Square Enix.
By the way, that's T Monk. Just want to point that out. Anyway, so they are they're kind of like the portions of the goblins and the Kikerns, how they are friendly with the enlightened races. They have settlements under the sea, and they believe in unique gods known as the Kami that reside in all things. And they have
Guardian
treasures,
spirits.
and they have treasures that actually house the Kami.
Guardian spirits.
So that's the belief that Byakko, Seiryu, Suzaku, and Genbu are all kami, which, as you said, are likely to be their equivalent of the 12. Although it seems only the Kojin, seem to, like, we've heard no mention of the other, of like the Outlaw.
I don't think the cardinal deities are necessarily kami. I just think that's what the Hiengashi worship instead of the 12. So, but talking about the kami, and talking about primals for the moment, there's a reason why you don't see many primals in Othard, or really anywhere other than Eorzea, and that's because there's a lot more ether in Eorzea. Crystals are far more plentiful. The only ways that you could summon a primal in a place like Othard is either by shipping crystals from Eorzea, or using something like the Tupsamati or a Dragon's Eye, or some artifact that contains a great amount of ether, some treasure that contains a great amount of ether, perhaps a treasure that you think a kami resides in. I think that the object that Susanu is supposed to reside in is going to be the same object that is used to summon it. And
Makes a lot of sense.
Maybe some artifacts containing an immense amount of ether. Something like the Tupsamati, or perhaps a sword, something like.
And then we can use those to destroy more. We can use those to destroy more Ascians.
Sure. Why not?
Although they are not the focal point of this expansion. They've made it very clear Garlemald is really the center of our antagonists.
Yeah, but
they're always there.
They're always the puppeteers.
Yeah. Susano is the original Final Fantasy XIV primal of the expansion, like Ravana was. Susano, Lord of the Revel.
Now, Susano has been another Square Enix title.
Yeah, because that's because Susano. I mean, it was the same with Ravana. Ravana had appeared in other things, but that's just because these aren't like original things that are not from they're from literature, so
lore,
but they've never been explicitly placed as a summon primal esper. They've never been given those titles, so that's why they're calling it an original one. And hopefully it pops up in Record Keeper at some point.
So he if we're really digging deep, Susano, like from the imagery that we see, kind of akin to the Japanese mythology of Susano, like Lord of the Storm, I'm guessing, is what we're going to see.
Yeah. I'm curious if they're going to hit us with like the surprise primal at the end, like they did with Thornton, or if these remain the only two for the original launch.
I think it's likely.
All right, and then from this point on, that's like almost nothing left after that. It was like, okay, cool, we got the, and it's kind of in line with the previous fan festivals in a sense of like go over the old stuff, a couple of new things. Like they reiterated challenging new dungeons, 3 quotes because 2 wasn't enough for that. They showed us the ship graveyard, which will be one of the dungeons, and then more will be revealed in time. Ship graveyard. I mean, Siren. I mean, unless they do like a palette swap Siren, I don't know what they would do, because I imagine Final Fantasy V references will be plentiful in there.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, but Siren's gone, and Siren was the end boss of the ship graveyard, so I don't know if they'll.
Well, it's not like a mermaid-looking Siren. Maybe we'll see.
Maybe
something like that.
It's entirely possible. And then finally, they let us know the 4th residential district. It was not Ishgard in the end. So fuck Ishgard housing.
Hey, remember,
boys.
Remember when they so here's my hope with Blitzball, right? They confirmed they were working on Ishgard housing after they finished those other systems, and instead they did this new one, Shirogane, which is a far eastern housing district. I have one very important question for you, gentlemen.
Okay.
Let's say I'm new to Final Fantasy XIV, and I join a free company, and they tell me they have a house. Cool, where is it? Shirogane. Okay, do I need to own the fucking expansion to go there?
I want to say no.
I want to say no also.
Yeah, me too.
What you think?
You probably won't be able to leave, like...
You want to say that again, Ethys?
Do you think that you'll be able to teleport, like, just to Shirogane?
Yeah, and if you try to leave, it gives you the whole not allowed thing.
Yeah,
okay.
That's nice.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, because I know there's been quite a few concerns regarding with Shirogane being a housing area if it will require
it has to. It has to be open to. New players.
Really suck to be a new player and to be like, yeah, you want to come to our house? Go buy the fucking expansion, nerd.
Get to level 7, nerd.
We'll see.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll see. I wonder if they thought that through. I'd have to imagine they did.
Yeah.
But
Be surprised
I wouldn't
if
be
they
surprised if they didn't. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. So plots are not going to be immediately available. They're going to do the whole delayed launch on the housing so people can go do
Because
other
we
shit
want you to
first.
play the game before you fight over houses.
Like, the fight over these houses is going to be pretty substantial.
Pretty much.
Because they're also now what's not made clear here is they're also working on a new feature for moving, which is something they've spoken about for a long time, where you're able to basically take your home and the things that are in it and preserve it and move it to a different place.
I'm curious how that's going to work.
Me
And
too.
what the limits are going to what the limits are going to be on that.
Well, I'd imagine there's a moving cost. You can't do that for free, but it'll be cheaper than the equivalent of demolishing and rebuilding.
Now, are we talking a in-game moving cost or a mod station moving cost?
That's actually it's fucked up. That's a good
In-game.
question, but an in-game cost
Yeah.
of gil, and not this isn't an eternal bond. You know, they're not gonna fuck people.
Yeah,
that hard.
true. It's not an eternal bond, and there are more people attached to it. But for some reason, I see it making more sense as a mod station cost to me. It wouldn't be too expensive.
I wouldn't put it past them, but I doubt it.
It wouldn't be too expensive, and I like you said, I wouldn't put it past them. But yeah, I really see this as a mod station cost more than anything.
Gil.
Ash says, "Who wants a free large house? Garden is mine, though."
Like
That's where-
slumlords, man.
That's where the money's made. That's what we're talking about. So I can't remember if they said moving would be ready at the same time Shirogane was ready.
I don't think they. Yeah, I don't think
The
they-
problem is if it's not ready by the time Shirogane is ready, what fucking
No,
housing?
they said that it will be. That it will
Oh
be.
god.
Yeah,
Okay.
Same time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Hey, I haven't been able to get a house ever. I can't wait to buy one in Shirogane. All the old people, and I'm gonna move this house right there.
Well, all
Good news
the
is-
other wards will be freed up at the
Yeah,
very
but now all the other wards are gonna be freed up.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, and it's gonna be even worse because fucking 3 housing districts are trying to move it into 1 housing district. We are so boned.
Do you think everyone's
yeah.
going to want to move though?
There's
Is
a
everyone-
lot of people who are gonna do it.
Mm.
There's a lot of fucking people that are gonna do it.
Yeah, well, you're a weeb, Sly.
Hey, boo.
Yeah, what's up?
There you go.
What's up? Yeah,
Hey, boo,
filthy
boo.
I've in my chat, everyone's been calling Shirogane Weebville.
Wow.
And then people are like, it's Weebville. I'm gonna live there. Oh man. They're also doubling the amount of furnishing capacity for houses. That's another high cost
About time.
thing, I'd imagine. Yeah, but it's only inside houses.
Only
It's not
inside,
outside
yeah.
because
Yeah, it's
outside.
not external. Yeah.
Yeah, they talk about that in the live letter, which is the third thing we'll get to here. And by the way, if you're on a 32-bit OS, please fucking update.
Change.
They said
Update.
it. They've said it the last 2 fan festivals, but now they're telling you won't even be able to load all the furniture if you don't. So if somebody fills the entirety to the cap, go fucking get a 64-bit operating system. Windows XP was cool 10 years ago. All right, please. Windows 10 was a free upgrade for everyone for a while. I hope you did it. Didn't you guys all upgrade to Windows 10?
No.
No, but my new PC's gonna have it.
Hey, I'm getting a new PC too. High five.
Woo!
Yeah, I had a glitch on my computer, and I was like, well, that's not good, so I went and bought a whole new
So,
computer.
your
My,
PC
my Mobo is not doing so good.
Yeah, that's the same reason with mine. And as far as I'm concerned, if your motherboard's out of date, you might as well get a whole fucking new computer. It's the equivalent. It's the equivalent. You're gonna have to do the equivalent amount of work if you're building it yourself anyway. All right. So upgrade. The last thing they talked about at this first part was Nobuo Uematsu. They played the new theme, Susan Calloway. They played a part of it. It's called Revolution.
Susano Calloway.
Yeah, I swear she better do the Susano music.
Oh my god. Susano voice. Oops.
Susano Calloway. I'm telling
Susano
you,
Cal-
make it happen, please. I'm begging you. I
This-
want for the
For that.
memes, for the
Somewhere
memes,
if I'm interested.
please, for the memes. The memes are all we have. Memes make the world go round. Memes
Don't let
will
our memes
never
be
will never be dreams. There you go.
Uh,
There you go. And that was the opening keynote for Europe. Samurai was really, obviously Samurai and Authored were the main points of it, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm looking forward to it. Also, Yugiri playing a major role. Yugiri's major role in the story. She's wearing the Nin AF3. Gosetsu, another new
Hunting Hawk.
Yeah, I've officially seen more Hunting Hawks in that trailer than I've seen in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Or IRL.
Or IRL. No, I've seen a hawk kill a squirrel, so it was brutal. He bit its neck and it snapped its neck. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. He did it at my middle school baseball field. He just sat on top of the fence, the gate, and he just cracked its neck, and it was brutal. I thought it was very entertaining.
I just posted the lyrics for it didn't form out very well, but I posted the lyrics for Revolutions that we've got so far in the chat there if anyone's interested.
Like
wow, that
the 30 seconds of lyrics that we got?
Yeah, the first minute. Yeah.
If this is abusing mod status.
That formatting is.
How am I abusing?
And I would like to point out, by the way, don't forget Susan Calloway is literally Heidelin in every song.
You're filthy.
Revolutions.
They literally Nobuo Uematsu says in the music panel.
No, he said that he was so like impressed with Calloway because she's sung from the perspective of Heidelin so far, and like Heidelin like looking down on the people and taking pity, and that Revolutions is sort of new and unique insofar as it's from the voice of the people, sort of lifting up, and he thought it was really cool that she was just as capable of portraying both of those images.
Good job, Susano Calloway.
Good job, Susano.
That's her new name officially. We're just gonna call her that. All right, no problems. Sly's gonna duck out for a second, guys.
Well, if he's doing that, I gotta go to the bathroom really bad.
No, you're fucking staying right here. Sit your fucking ass down. Yeah.
Don't you have a bottle, like a jar or something?
Wow.
What kind of streamer are you?
Apparently a normal one.
Mike knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you think I stay hydrated during the stream? I just recycle. There you go.
Just drinks his own piss.
There you go. It's just clear. I just put ice cubes in my body. That way it's... There you go. It's not like you're wearing pants anyway. It's not like you need to get up and take them off.
Exactly.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Anyway, moving on to something of importance. The next thing that we have is the European FanFest press conference, which was full of basically the questions. No.
Yeah.
I know. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. Ultimately, it is yes, but I don't want it to be yes. So please work with me here. I'm opening Gamer Escape right now, and I think sometimes I get an ad that plays audio. So apologies if it blows. Actually, I think Reddit has an official translation now, also on the front page.
It's true.
Yeah, they do. It has 166 comments. There you go. So basically, all the answers that we wanted in the actual opening keynote were in the press conference that came afterwards. Like, hey, what about the new battle system? Hey, what about Blitzball? Hey, just basically all the actual important stuff came out of the press conference, as minus the whole Samurai DPS thing. So let's run through that real quick. So we're gonna go over each question. If you want to stop and talk about it, raise your hand, say something, whatever. Go through it because there's a lot.
Letting you know beforehand, I turned down like 4 boxes of Samoas for this shit. So let's go.
I've got 2/3 of a box. Should I go get them now?
No. Yeah, no.
I love coconut. Anyway. All right, so the first question was, after the third event took place, what experience do you get from meeting the fans? I don't think we need to stop and talk that one. I don't think we need to stop and talk about that one.
No.
New areas, a strong cultural connection to Far Eastern culture. We also discussed this already. So these first 2 questions, these are the easy ones. Then they asked the next question, and this is regarding the fact that we got 2 DPS. It's time there will only be 2 jobs implemented in Stormblood. Is there any chance for a new job to be implemented in 4.x like Ninja?
Hell no.
Okay, that was not their answer. Hell no.
Theirs was more of a polite no, but I understand why.
We have not decided to do such a thing at this time. But he said specifically.
That's a no.
In my Square Enix book of responses, yes, that's an absolute no. They said that specifically they want to see how 4.0 balancing goes because they're trying to lower the skill gap between players. If the skill gap is low enough, which by the way it won't be, then they may consider it. But they've said in the past they have no interest in ever doing something like that again. I'm going to take that as their more formal stance on it because that was a far more absolute answer than this kind of dancing around the topic is. And everyone's like, oh, they're saving Blue Mage and Dancer for that.
No, the fuck they're not. Like, please don't get your hopes up for fucking Dancer or Blue Mage. Please don't. 'Cause that's just not going to happen in 4.0. Sorry.
Yep.
Sorry, but not sorry.
Sorry, but not sorry. Then they asked about more crossover functionality, and we got some interesting news here. Because first of all, we never got the fucking phone app that we were promised, and that they said they were aiming for.
But they did kind of touch on it, though.
They did. So they said that they're hoping for more server functionality, and they touched on this again in the live letter. They're working on crossover functionality for a friends list. They are talking about free company and link shell compatibility for cross-server functionality, so cross-server free companies and link shells. They're trying to move towards serverless while still keeping servers, pretty much. That's what I'm comprehending from this. Which seems to be the way of the future in general for online games. The less divisions you have, the better. And then it makes Gilgamesh less the, I need to make a new character there, server. Which is good, because when people ask me, what server should I make a character on, I go, I only have one answer. Don't smile at me like that, Ethys. You got a smug smile. Where's your smug mug? Look like you're hiding behind it. Like an old man. What the I was hoping there was liquid in there, and I just saw it pour down onto his fucking shirt. His smug shirt. My shirt is more smug than your shirt, unfortunately.
That's true.
That's very true. They asked him about the samurai costume. And was it comfortable? And he said yes.
Yeah.
Is he going to work in it? He's going to go around the office dressed as a samurai. Let's see. Grand Company platoons. It's a feature they've expanded on a lot so far, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to be a blitzball team.
God damn it, Ethys. Oh!
Yeah.
Please, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're currently working on the AI for the platoon so that you can use them in select dungeons.
Right.
That's
And Blitzball.
They said once 4.0 is released, they'll get back to working on that. Because they're not focusing on developing that while they work on 4.0.
Do 4.4?
4. Never. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm like, honestly, I don't expect platoons to take off and become this, like, amazingly developed piece of content in our game. They do bring back some pretty nice fake free company buffs, though.
Right.
Yeah.
And materia.
Oh, yeah.
They do a pretty good job at that, so.
Scripts.
I want to take this one. I want to take this next one.
Oh, no.
Okay. Priorities for FanFests. Fucking merch lines, goddammit.
Apparently, Europe's merch line was like, you just walked up, and it was.
Finally got the memo of online pre-orders.
Yeah. So here's what I've learned about FanFests. North America gets fucked every time.
Yep.
The second FanFest gets things that are slightly improved, and the final FanFest, everything
gets
is
it all right.
amazing. So let's look at it from all perspectives.
Okay.
We have the announcements. North America gets the initial announcement. We get half of the full trailer, and a cliff notes of the expansion.
So what you're saying is we get fucking shafted.
We get the excitement of it being brand new. We don't even get a job reveal. We get the first T-shirt.
But the funny thing about that is we are all so fucking hyped for that shit.
Yeah, we are. We're like, okay, what T-shirts are gonna be? We're eating it up. Like, oh, T-shirt. Oh, Scarlet Witch just Red Mage.
And then we see it at the next two FanFests.
We see it at the next two FanFests. There you go. So, and then you have the final FanFest of Europe, where they get Samurai. They get the other half of the trailer, which has Samurai in it. They go over all the old shit anyway. They get a whole new continent with new zones, the original Primal, and it's just like, I thought we mattered too. And they got a 30-minute longer opening keynote because of it.
Yeah.
Sure
So what Square Enix is telling everybody is that
if you're first, you're worst.
Yeah. One, Get a fucking passport. Go to Europe.
You know.
Go to European Fan Fest. That's what they're telling you. If you want to get the full extent of everything that you might get at 1 and 2 at like Japan, or depending on whatever order they do it in, North America, because North America is always going to be first, just go to fucking Europe or go to the last one. I don't care. Hell, they even had Crackpot. They even had Mini Crackpot. But I will admit, and I will say this.
We had Mini Crackpot too.
We had Mini Crackpot.
I won.
We made it fucking cool. I won too. And also was what I said on Twitter. We made it fucking cool. Shout out to Nariko Star, because she made that shit cool before y'all even did it.
That's
Shout out
true.
to Nariko Star. Shout out.
Where's he going?
Bye, Mary.
I think
Where do you
he went to the
think he's
bathroom.
going?
I don't know. I just read the chat.
Oh my god.
Okay, he's gone. All right. And then we look at the concert. They got Rise. They got Koji rapping Rise. They got Susan Calloway singing Oblivion.
Mm-hmm.
They got everything was better.
So again, they're telling you, go to the last fucking fan festival, whether it's European or Japan. Get a fucking passport.
What if we're last next time? What if they make us? Because it's been Europe's last. Japan's been last. We're up next.
We're always going to be first. That shit's not going to happen. We're always going to be fucking first, Happy. We just had to deal with that shit. We just had to deal with it.
Man. Oh man.
Like
I still don't know. Yeah, chat's bringing it up. I still don't know the lyrics to Rise. It still sounded like you rise up and make me giant meatballs. It still sounded like that. It didn't change. I understand that lyric, and I understand pedal to the metal on the metal highway or some shit like that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Kill him with quickness. I don't. Just
well. Okay, I'll say this, like, because I haven't seen the piano concert. Was there a box involved?
What?
Oh,
piano.
City of Amdapur? Yeah.
Oh.
That was.
Was there a box involved at the piano concert?
I didn't watch the piano concert.
Okay.
I was streaming.
Yeah. Anybody in chat can answer that. Was there a box involved? Was there like theatrics?
Theatrics. They said yes.
Yes, there was. Okay.
Yeah, there was.
Okay.
Oh, well,
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that shit because.
No, well,
Yeah.
There you go. Then they get the box. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's all they needed. Welcome back. Man.
Thank you. Sorry.
Hope you're all right.
Much better.
I didn't read the chat till after you had walked out, and it was hilarious. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then they covered that it'd be 50-50 between Alamigo and Doma. Thank God, because I honestly forgot Alamigo was even part of it after this whole presentation. I was like, oh, author. Oh, wait, am I supposed to be on Alamigo too?
Is that someone else we're going?
Everyone's like, yay, Monk gets its own expansion, just like Dragoon. That's going to mean they're, oh, shit, there's fucking Samurais. And
Just
they shared,
kidding.
and Samurai's like, that's gear, by the way?
I mean,
That's mine. Mm-hmm.
And
slashing debuff.
Anyway.
And Samurai's like, end slashing debuff. How's that feel, Monk?
They have to get rid of it.
They have to get rid of
There's too many.
There's too many.
Yeah.
At this point, there's like 6 slashing. And
Other than that, they have to make it like slashing.
One blunt.
And blunt.
no, that's not true. Books and
No, I
and,
suppose.
yeah.
Just make Monk slashing damage.
just make Monk just instead of punches, they have blades that come out. They just
Well, they usually do anyway.
yeah, that's true. But they punch with them.
Eat it in the trailer. The
Yes,
third.
but
I don't want Bill Nye the Samurai as a character. I still like Bill Nye Defiance guy as a warrior.
yeah, I
Right?
agree.
Although to be fair,
Yeah.
he's doing it wrong because he's not in Deliverance. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's the problem. He didn't Felcleave.
Bill Nye Deliverance Guide does not work.
No, it just doesn't sound as good, unfortunately. Then they talked about the Pro Patch and the Nintendo Switch. So they are working on a Pro Patch.
Well,
Switch.
No,
Here's
I
the
don't
thing.
want Switch.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about that.
Hashtag Switch.
The only
limitation.
way Switch is going to fucking happen is if Microsoft fucking rolls it.
Microsoft, you understand, Switch and Microsoft have nothing to do with one another, right?
No, but here's what I'm saying. Like, because
They'll
Microsoft-
put their efforts into a piece of hardware that can actually play the game before
We
they put it
just
into the
got
Switch.
done with PS3 limitations. I don't want Switch limitations.
Not gonna happen.
It's
Not going to happen.
it's not really. Well, okay, I wouldn't say it's a limitation, but I get what you're saying. But at the same
I would
time,
absolutely say
the only way that would happen.
Sly, the Nintendo Switch's built-in memory isn't even enough to download the fucking game.
It's
You need to buy a 1 terabyte SD card to even play the fucking game.
Yeah, but people will already buy that to begin with because they're going to be playing everything, downloading everything to begin with, depending on how much Nintendo offers online anyway. But that's a totally different thing. But yeah, like I said, the only way that's going to happen is if fucking Microsoft rolls over it, because if Microsoft wants their own fucking servers, it's fucking
They're never going to get them.
Nintendo does too, and they're never going to get that shit.
That's true. Nintendo is not much better with policies than
No, they're not. They're like Microsoft and Nintendo are almost the same. They're almost so fucking isolationist. It's not even funny. So yeah, they're.
Well, then that's why they want
Hingashi.
the expansion. Yeah, they're the Hingashi.
They're Hingashi. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Not gonna
I guess
happen.
that's true. Nintendo's not much better about policy, but I'd imagine Square Enix has a better working relationship with Nintendo than they do with Microsoft, considering
They do.
the first 6 Final Fantasy games were on
Yeah,
Nintendo.
they kind of did them though.
Yeah, I mean, they get Explorers,
Yeah,
which now they're making a
I like how that's your fucking example. They get Explorers.
but now they're making a mobile game for Explorers, like a phone game of Explorers. That's
Oh,
not
so
on
everybody's taking the fucking Fire Emblem route. Okay, all right.
I reckon
fair.
it's going to be about 12 months before we start talking about PS4 limitations. Forget about Switch.
No, I don't think the PS4. I mean, I don't think the PS4 is going to hit a point of limitation. I think given maybe
A console cycle, yeah, sure.
a console cycle, a full console cycle, maybe we'll see that it hit that point. But probably that's not for at least another 4 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Agreed.
And the question is, what are they really going to push the boundary on to the point where the PS4 can't handle it? You know what I mean?
I mean, how many more PS4s are we going to get besides the Pro that they're going to have to make patches for?
They made Crystal Chronicles on Nintendo consoles.
Oh my god.
That's your argument. That's your whole fucking argument. Fucking Crystal Chronicles and fucking...
Is not happening.
It's not happening. I'll agree with that. I agree.
Mm-mm.
Switch is as likely as Samurai
They're
Tank.
putting Dragon Quest X on the Switch, which is an MMO.
Shut up about this fucking Switch. It's not happening.
The thing is, he doesn't say they're doing Switch. All he says is after they fix the Pro Patch, which they are working on, which is just going to improve performance. It's not going to be better graphics. It's not going to be this crazy upgrade. It's going to be able to process more information on screen more consistently. Then they'll think about the Switch. Was the next?
No. Here's what he's saying. You're going to have talks, the same kind of talks that they have with Microsoft, and nothing's gonna fucking happen.
Theatrhythm's on in 3DS, and they want to put Theatrhythm
Yeah, about Theatrhythm, about that.
We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, about that, huh?
Yeah.
So yeah, next one.
Oh no.
And I want to take this one.
I'm sure you do.
So people, you're asking for Blitzball because you really want that shit, right?
Yeah.
Well, eventually you're possibly gonna get it. There are plans for it.
Okay, let's be
Maybe.
So here's what they say.
Maybe
To be honest,
development.
here's they say, yes, we have plans. The only reason
Yeah.
they backtrack and say maybe is because they hit a problem, and this was the problem they hit with Triple Triad, and this was the problem they hit with Chocobo Racing, where people wanted them in the game, and they tried to make them work in Final Fantasy XIV and change them based on the way that they worked in their original games in 7 and 8. The problem then became that they weren't exactly like the previous games, and people felt they weren't faithful.
No.
Which I knew was going to be a problem there. Oh, here comes...
Shut up, Barb Jane.
There you go.
Are you serious?
Yeah, there you go.
Really? Really?
And
They weren't
so-
like it? They weren't like all the games, huh?
Here's the thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
So they've run into that problem with Blitzball, where they know they want to do it. They say it's natural for them to add it. They said it's natural. As in, this has been in the talks for quite some time. We actually knew that because he sat down with the Final Fantasy X producer, and they talked about it.
But seriously, like at this point, I think you would be naive to think that Blitzball wouldn't be a thing in 4.0. You really
just not at expansion launch, to be clear. But
not at launch. I get that. That's fine. But you would just be naive to think that we wouldn't see it at all. Mm-hmm. We're seeing this shit. This shit is going to happen. As much as you don't want it to happen, I don't want it to happen. Happy doesn't want it to happen. Ethys, for some random bumfuck reason, wants this shit to happen. I don't know why.
Yeah. Blitzball's dope.
Oh
Ethys, I swear to God, if
High five,
Blitzball comes out and we have an episode of State of the Realm, Blitzball comes out, and then I have you on a week later and you've already stopped playing it, I'm going to punch you in the fucking face.
No.
Exactly.
He's going to be playing it on the show.
That's my co-host.
I want you playing it on the show every week.
We're playing it on the show.
Every week.
Yes.
We're going to have Blitzball can.
I don't care. Like, yeah. You're like, fuck me doing fucking dailies during the show. I want you doing fucking Blitzball during the show.
The only thing that'll frustrate me is if they just make it like a new PvP mode. And it's going to be like Hutball. I really don't want it to be like Hutball.
No.
How do you make Blitzball like Hutball?
Well, how did you make Hutball like Hutball?
You throw a ball and you kill people.
The same way you made football like football, you just fucking did it?
No, I'm saying like they made it like a PvP mode, like a sort of capture the flag kind of PvP mode. That's what Hutball was in the Old Republic. I don't want them to do that.
So what you're saying is you want it to be where you just hide behind the goal and win and power level your characters. Like
exactly.
Actually
no, I'm saying that I don't.
That's going to be a thing. That's going to be a thing, and then it's going to get patched out. Like
I don't want that. That's what I'm saying. I want it to be.
They have to like people like if they're going to put Blitzball in there, they're going to have to realize that the hiding behind the goal thing is going to be a thing.
They're not going to let it be a thing because it's not fucking 2002 or whatever fucking year.
Yeah,
Final Fantasy X came out 2001, where they didn't think to try that, and they're like, "Oh, well, I win."
I should reiterate. I want PvP Blitzball. I just don't want it to be like another PvP mode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the frontline roulette.
Yeah, exactly.
you want a Blitzball roulette?
Blitzball.
The Blitzball roulette.
Yeah.
There you go. Just rouletting players.
So, next thing, the battle system revamp. It's not a.
It's literally the same thing they said at NA. So I'm just going to take
it's
this
like
as
they said the same thing. It's not a ground up rework. They're concentrating on two things.
Let's make this perfectly clear, Sly. I want you to you're going to be the one to do the delivery. I want you to make it perfectly clear what this combat revamp is. Go.
All right, they're concentrating on two things. One, they're trying to lower the skill gap. There are players on the upper tier who have really, really good DPS, and then there's everybody.
And you have the 600 DPS bards.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Or the I've heard
the 600 DPS bard laughing at the paladin for playing paladin.
No. I've heard of thank you. Then you have those people. They're trying to close the gap. They're what this rework is going to do is close the gap between the top tier players who have a shit ton of fucking DPS and the lower tier who just don't know what the fuck they're doing. Mm-hmm. This is going to close the gap. Mm-hmm. And then the second thing is that they're cutting the number of unused actions and combining similar actions. It's really
so for me, that there's a few things that tells me. For one, I have to imagine that either the first or second part of the combo rotations is going away. They can't. I doubt they're leaving it at 3-tier combos because that's the majority of your button presses as a job are those, and that's the majority of the things that people fuck up are their basic fucking global cooldowns and what order to do them in.
Don't see how.
I
mean, maybe you fat finger fucking something. I don't know, but
no,
it happens.
It's literally people. I mean, think about Ice Mage. What is wrong with Ice Mage? They stay in fucking ice the whole time because they're not using all the cooldowns because they don't know what order.
Or a single target Ring of Thorns for whatever reason.
Single target Doton.
If it is something like cutting down the basic combos, I think that is a huge mistake. I reckon the only way to
I agree.
The only way they could definitively close the skill gap would be to identify all of those 600 DPS buds and give them a fucking permaban. That is the only. I'm serious. That's the only way you close the skill gap.
Thanks, Trump.
They just have to let shit.
Goddamn.
Players. And don't fuck with the combos. The combos are fine. It's like I'm so happy with the way the combat system is at the moment.
We're gonna take everybody under 400 DPS, and you're just gonna get a ban.
Just get fucking
ban.
I don't want them to seriously. I don't want them. And they said they're not going to be doing it from the ground up. They're not going to completely change the combat system.
I want them to streamline buff application, stuff like that, like heavy thrust. Put that on something else, so you don't have to like weave that in. You know, like,
yeah, fine.
Little things like that.
Yeah, just little things like kill some redundant skills. But when we're talking about like, all right, all the 3-tier combos are now only going to be 2-tier combos. It's like, no, fuck that. It's so dumb.
Yeah, that's too much.
Okay.
By the way, I'm not advocating that they
ban
ban everyone who does shitty DPS. I'm saying that is the only way that they could
feasibly.
We're gonna build a wall between the good DPS and the
skip saw, or
skip saw, or you get fucking unsubbed. It's gonna happen.
I'm just saying they're not gonna do that. But like, if they want to like babysit people into closing the gap, that's the only way they could ever.
This is why we brought up the whole of the intermediate. This is why we brought up that and the whole the expert, just to get people to improve it, and we haven't heard anything about that. We still think that is a thing. I still think that's going to be a thing. I'm hoping that's going to be a thing.
Yeah,
I really want that to be a thing.
Yeah. I just don't want to see them pull a Warcraft.
It won't go that bad. They straight up say you're still gonna have the same amount of buttons to press in the expansion as you do now. So it will not be 1-2-1-2, 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish.
No, red fish, samurai fish.
Isn't that what black mage is? Red fish, blue fish.
Yeah. Except it's red fish, red fish, red fish, red fish, red fish, red fish, blue fish, thunder.
Blue fish. Yeah.
Purple fish.
Purple fish. There you go.
There you go.
Well, red and blue is purple. There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Makes perfect sense.
Confirmed.
All right, so the next thing they said was that we really haven't seen Alamigo proper. And we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, but they said they have something unique for us in store that takes advantage of the MMO genre. What do you think that means? Happy, you talked about this.
It is not.
You talked about
this. It's not open world PvP.
Okay. No. So what do you think it is, Happy?
I think it's probably something along the lines of, I guess something that's Fate-esque. I know a lot of people have referred, since a lot of people play 14, play 11, it's a natural thing, is Besieged.
Yep. That's exactly what I think.
Where you're actually reclaiming parts of the city. Your goal is to reclaim parts of the city, and then every once in a while a battle breaks out and you have to hold the city at a certain point.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
I think it's going to look like Elder Scrolls Online PvP, just without the PvP.
Yeah, where you're fighting over a stronghold, but in this case the stronghold is Alamigo.
Yeah, that's someone the PvP.
And your goal is and maybe if you control all of Alamigo or whatever, then there's like a buff in Alamigan regions. I don't know.
You don't want the PvP, Sly.
But I do.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
What are they gonna do? You're gonna go into the fucking open world PvP and your chat's gonna stop working? Who the fuck knows? Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. We're not gonna be able to say anything. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You just shout across the entire zone, "I'm healing." Where are you?
Good for you. Okay, the next thing they talked about was, Samurai's a tank. That's a thing. And Yoshi was like, yeah, it's a thing. I envisioned it as a DPS, and it was a goddamn
He's like,
DPS.
I want a post-Edo Samurai, and those look more DPS to me, so we're going to look at that.
They look more DPS than a fucking tank.
Yeah.
Deal with it. What makes 14 stand out from other MMOs? Basically, the speed at which we release content, and, we do FanFest. We're cool as shit.
We're
cool.
better than other MMOs. That's what makes us different.
Drop the mic, walk away. That's all you need to do. Yeah.
We care.
And then the last thing. Oh my god. Okay. So 2 things. One, they asked about the app. It's still in development. And that's a good I was really about to ask about this and why they didn't touch on this in the keynote, but they answered it in the press conference, and that's fine. It's in development. It's good. I hope at some point we do get it in 4.0. But yeah, just toss that to the side for a second. Oh, VR!
Jesus.
I would like to reiterate this entire segment is a joke. He wasn't serious.
I don't give a shit. No. I take this shit fucking seriously. Fuck you.
Of course you do, Mr. Garuda's rack on a wall.
How you doing? So VR. We like Makote Paradise. $50. You can see Makote porn. I'll fucking
do that for
free. What is that, your VR headset, Ethys?
Throw in some fucking aura, and you got yourself a fucking deal. No. Ever since we talked about this, I have created a new association. It is called the EAALD. It is the Aortian Association for the Advancement of Leggy Domins, because you kill all of my fucking leggy characters off. You killed Moonbraider. You killed fucking Ysael. Don't kill off my leggy Domins. Put them in the fucking strip club along with the Makote and the Aura. Done. I will pay the $50.
You understand, Ethys, when you put the sunglasses on, you look like a creepy porn guy, right?
Yeah. I don't give a shit. I'll pay that fucking $50.
And then you come to the show and you tell us how it was.
Yeah, I will.
Don't actually come to the show. I mean, be on.
I will give you a full review on how that shit went.
Definitely don't want that much detail.
I will give you a full review.
I'm just gonna say, Sly, there's a thing called the internet, and if you go to Google,
no,
it's not virtual reality.
Let's not talk about DeviantArt and everything like that. No. This is something completely fucking different. This is VR.
So just put on your VR headset and load in a fucking picture.
It's not the same.
Just load in a picture.
It's not
load in a picture. That's how it works.
I want leggy Domins. I want leggy Domins.
Mary, the only thing that you have revealed to me at this point is that you do not want to buy a VR headset and have come up with.
Yeah, that's the only thing you've said.
That's the only thing I've been able to draw a conclusion.
I'll just I'll take a fucking a helmet. I'll tape a picture inside of it.
The fact that you're willing to do that
done? Is he still going?
Is frightening to me.
VR.
Oh no, he's still not done. All right, okay.
He was. There was no part of this that was serious, but my favorite part is the fact that this was the last thing he said before he walked out of the room.
Yeah. I mean, how can you not take it serious at that point? This is the last thing he said, and he just walked out.
He's like, "Does anybody want to take that on?" No, nobody's raising their hand. All right, well, I'm gonna go leave. I need to find someone who can. Apparently.
Yeah.
The fact that this was the last thing, like, you couldn't have ended on like a "thank you everyone for attending." No. He ended it on, "I would love to make VR porn," and then walked out.
He was on
Throw some leggy Domins in there, and we gotta fucking.
He was on fire during FanFest. He was funny.
Yeah.
He was cracking jokes left and right.
What if they end up all being dudes, Sly?
Exactly. He didn't say that they were female Makotes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, really.
You're just gonna crush my dreams like that? No.
I'm sorry. Are we not playing
for once your dreams will be memes.
Ever?
Yeah.
They're going to
be Makote, and they're going to be
I don't know why they're calling it Makote Paradise. It's called Balmung Simulator.
Oh my god.
I feel like
20% offended and like 80% yeah.
No. I just feel like Balmung is nowhere near that.
You mean his ideas?
Oh, well, really? You really think that Balmung's so?
No. I'm saying
you're so beneath Makote Paradise.
No. What I'm saying is Makote Paradise sounds like a paradise compared to Balmung.
Yeah, that's true. Balmung, it's kind of that ratchet ass shit, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Balmung is hood porn. Balmung is hood 14 porn.
That's where like the girls have like bullet wounds.
Is too vanilla for Balmung.
Yeah, it really is.
I think that's Balmung's just like the equivalent of like the strip club that has like the girls have bullet wounds. It's kind of how I imagine it.
Wow.
Leaking pipes in the ceiling, like
Yeah.
water sliding.
Wow.
You know, there's a lot of bad things that go on there.
The tap only has Bud Light. Like, it's not a good time.
The only thing you can order off the menu is hot wings, and people actually order off the menu. There you go. Sly's laughing because he's been to one of these places.
All right.
Oh God.
So, Mikote VR Paradise.
Woo.
Please.
It's a thing. Make it happen. Make it happen, Captain.
Please.
Stay awesome,
look forward to
Gotham.
it. They sell juice at the bar. Yeah, there you go. I like that. Okay. So, that's two of the major news outlets that came out of the European Film Festival.
Oh my God.
There you
I'm
go.
sorry. I'm sorry.
You've done this.
Ugh.
This is where our lives have gone.
Mhm.
Oh,
Oh my God.
yeah. Okay. Anyway, everyone in the chat is not helping. I like how Bud Light is the trigger here. It's not even it's just, I can't. I got to continue the show at some point, guys.
Okay.
It's just the line. It just crosses the line right there.
That's where you've crossed the line. There you go.
Okay.
Oh God.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. So we have day 2 of Fan Festival at this point, where they opened with the live letter. I didn't want to wake up 2 times at 1:30 in the morning, but I did for amazing questions like these.
Oh, so good. So good.
So,
Well, we didn't get peaches.
to be fair, that's a PAX East tradition, so that's coming up. But anyway,
Yeah.
so someone at PAX East, please ask the Peaches question, because that was when it was
Please.
asked last time. So you need to do it, because
Moving to the country, gonna eat me alive.
I can't go to that panel, so someone else has to ask it. Yeah, so I'm leaving. Those of you going to East, I place my responsibilities with you. So don't let me down. Okay? Good. Anyway, so the final topic we have is the EU Fan Festival live letter, where once again we have some very high quality Q&A.
And it starts from the beginning.
To be fair, these actually weren't all that, I guess, bad. Like sometimes we get like the peaches.
Well,
Pretty
what
fucking
would you
bad.
consider to be bad?
Well, no, because like questions like the peaches is like
Peaches is okay. Like in hindsight,
peaches is what I would consider
we
the
thought
bottom.
it was stupid. We thought it was a stupid thing, but in hindsight, compared to what the first question was, peaches is okay.
The first question was, are there going to be more character customization options? I feel like that's a fair first question. We
No,
have
you didn't ask the whole question.
Specifically.
Keep
and
going.
then oh yeah, that's only half of the first question.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep going.
And then they also asked, would it be possible to implement butt sliders?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is a character customization option, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
I feel like the excuse for this was pretty lame, honestly. It's
So-
going to stretch the textures? It's like, what?
So here's what it is. So there's no plans for new character customization options in the expansion, which is not too abnormal because they add new hairstyles in the game pretty much every patch. It's just people want more like actual like eyes and
Yeah.
voices and things like that. So they said it's a large burden on the graphics team and it creates a lot of data for the servers to handle. Haven't heard that one before. But then he kept asking, do you guys really want a butt side? And the thing that killed me about this entire first question is Yoshi P just kept doing this over and over and over
Like
again.
Yoshi B don't want to ask, but like, you're my dude, man. You're my dude. High five, Yoshi B. High
Yeah.
five. You're
He's
my
like,
dude.
and his reason
He runs to a strip club.
his reason for why they originally
Light.
didn't want butt sliders was because shaping I guess the way the characters are created in such a way and the way that armor fits around them is not meant to expand at certain parts of their body. So it would just straight up stretch the textures. That was his major concern. He said if people really don't care about that, sure. That was his thing. As they don't care about the textures being stretched, I mean, yeah, sure. I'll talk to the graphics programmer. We'll see what we can get done. So you guys might have bigger butts soon.
Yeah.
All I got to say is I don't want to see a Lalafell with that slider turned all the way up because that's just gonna be
like a bottom heavy.
It's gonna be like Nicki Minaj if she was.
No, it's gonna look like Dexter's mom from Dexter's Laboratory.
Yeah, Dexter's mom from Dexter's Lab, except like she's really tall.
She's really tall. Lalafell's really short. Yeah.
I hope Yoshi P, when he's talking about stretching textures, he was talking about in game and not like the pleats of his pants. But anyway, that's what we're talking about.
Well,
yep, there you go.
Well, you went there.
Yep.
Next question.
Next question.
Next question.
This is the increased number of outdoor furnishing slots. We touched on this earlier. They said they don't know if they'll be able to do that. They said once they've implemented moving, then they'll consider increasing outdoor furnishing, because everyone can see it, it's different than the indoor furnishing.
Right.
Fair. We touched on this already. Plans to improve controlling pets. Specifically, this question was if you place a pet in a spot and it gets knocked away from that spot, it doesn't know to move back into the spot you demanded that it be.
Get good.
Pretty much. It was like
that was pretty much it.
Do it yourself.
He's like, you're the master.
Do it your fucking self. There is an ability where you can move your fucking fairy. Use it.
He would literally said, "You're the master. You control the pet." And it's funny because Ben was standing there waiting for him to be done with the joke and to actually answer the question. And they both look at him, and he's like, "Oh,
that's it. That's okay. Great.
Let's
Next
move
question.
on to the next one then."
Yeah, exactly. I love how Ben was just so confused about that. Like, wait, that's it.
He's like, "Oh, that was." Even he was. We were all confused. He was just like, "All right, that's it. We're moving on."
No, I wasn't confused. That was just a simple fucking answer. I accepted it.
Yeah,
everybody did.
It wasn't a joke either. It's like,
no, it wasn't a joke. That was a serious fucking answer.
Play your job.
So the next question was regarding the gold saucer, which hasn't seen much of an update outside of triple triad cards and I guess the battle hall and whatnot.
Yeah.
They asked if we could get a rhythm game like Theatrhythm, which Yoshi.
And the one thing I'll say,
which by the way is on Nintendo.
Face. Yeah, I love his face. He had the straightest face during this question. And yeah, he's like
until he got to the next few, he didn't have a straight face for the next few.
No. But this one, he just had a straight face. Yeah. So there's a game called Theatrhythm. You can definitely get it. It's a really awesome game. But if you want it to be in 14, we can make a whole token system in
arcade, like an arcade.
Yeah. We can make you buy some tokens in Mog Station. You can play it.
I love how he was like, "Oh, can we just add it?" Yeah, I think it's that easy, huh? You just add it into the game.
It's really easy.
Fees anywhere.
So this was actually discussed. Something not like this was discussed, but is somewhat in relevance to this because Theatrhythm has a lot of original Final Fantasy music and had to go through the process of getting the rights to use all that music. They might be Square Enix made songs, but the different composers and moving parts that are all part of those different songs is actually an answer to a question we got a while ago when they asked if we could get other Final Fantasy songs in Final Fantasy 14. Now, clearly Final Fantasy 15 has done it. Theatrhythm has done it.
Here's the thing. One, let's just come to the consensus that Nobuo Uematsu is a god. We all know this.
Yes.
But he doesn't do everything. Meaning there are a whole bunch of different music producers across the Final Fantasy lines. You're not going to be, trying to get licensing. I was surprised that 15 even got it within the whole audio, car audio kind of thing. That surprised me.
Huge investment.
Yeah, it's a huge investment for such a big title, and naturally they're going to do it because expecting this.
Yeah.
But to try to get that for 14 is a little bit overboard, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, like you say, Nobuo might be the composer for 90% of the franchise's music, but there's a bunch of different producers, there's different artists, there's so many people involved and so many licensing fees and so many fingers in the pot that it's just it's crazy. I don't know how
which is why the simplest thing to do would to just put Theatrhythm in, because Theatrhythm has the rights already.
Yeah.
It has done all the legwork.
Yeah. But then you need to assign
okay, all right.
every subscription to Theatrhythm.
Now, okay, I'll ask this.
We have 384 of our own compositions. Just use our own fucking songs.
Would you be okay? Would you be okay with, like, I don't know, how much would it go for nowadays? A $40 item on MogStation making you able to play this game.
A one-time deal? Yeah, I don't see why not. It's the equivalent of buying the fucking game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Sure.
Mhm.
You know what? $10 to play Blitzball, and I'll allow. Because honestly,
Now, I don't know about that. Like, I still don't even, like, I'm not even gonna agree with you on Blitzball, but I don't know about that. God
I'm gonna
damn.
pay $40 for fucking Theatrhythm. I'm gonna pay. I want them to charge $10 for Blitzball, so I can be like, well, now it's worth dev time because people will buy it.
Yeah.
Right.
There you go. If you want to put dev time into that shit, there you go. That's my stipulation at this point. Oh man. So yeah, he said he'd talk to the producer and see if it was something they could work out. I don't think this is likely,
No, me either.
just because of all the issues. But I mean, he fielded the question, he entertained it, and then he moved on.
Mm.
Which is the next question, another quality question. Any plan to remove restrictions on haircuts between
And
races?
then Oscar, like, they played some, like, music over it. It was like Oscar music. It was like they were trying to, like, remove this section of the love letter. But yeah, more hairstyles will become available within the years, and they are looking to try to do this, but it's not something within the foreseeable future.
Right.
Well, they
And
said
not-
they're gonna be
We're talking about the haircuts,
some of
right?
them. They're going to be unlocking
Yeah, some of
Some-
them, because they want some to remain race exclusive for the sake of lore reasons.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
Koji
some of
definitely
them are gonna
feels,
be unlocked in 4.0.
yeah. And then they also asked about the hempen gear.
Mhm.
There was like a 40-page thread about this, and it just got brought up again on this, and it was regarding how I can't remember exactly how it went. Can one of you word it better than me?
So it's technically, so you have, in terms of like the texturing and the modeling, you have like a slot 0 and then a slot 1. Slot 1 being your like clothes, and slot 0
being your skin.
right? And the hempen stuff, like the hempen camise and all that, is technically a slot 0. So it's changing the texture of the skin. So they were like, it was like a whole programming issue, and they're like, oh, if we were going to do this, we would have to like remake all of them as like slot 1. So it would be like a really difficult thing to do. They said that, however, they were planning on making more items and more like glamour options that kind of had the same sort of aesthetic as the hempen stuff.
Okay, thank you.
That's
Thank you for
basically
putting it that way.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Will it be possible to repeat solo instance trials from the main story or job quest? I think
Wait.
he didn't say
Here's
no.
what you do. Here's what you do.
No. It's not. It's like
You
great
make a new
idea. Nice
character.
idea. Nice idea. Make a new
New
character.
character. Exactly.
And so he said it would be, originally he thought it would be difficult because they were tied to the quest markers, but then he remembered the way they actually have them designed server side is that they are basically almost not the equivalent, I guess almost the equivalent of an instance that they can isolate. And so if they could isolate every single one of them and compile that list, it would feasibly be possible at some point. Obviously it's not something they've thought of at this point, but they'll consider, and that's good because some of the encounters I would have loved to have done again, like the original one with Regula Van Hydrus, the first one when you're in as well, or the one against, or the Grand Melee.
Yeah, the Grand
Yeah,
Melee.
the Grand Melee was a really good.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
But Yoshi P's words. But if you can't wait,
Make a new character.
Make
wait. All right, so this next one I want to take because this is something we've been talking about for a long
I love this question.
I love this question. All right. Yeah, so, Final Alexander was a little bit easy. Can you make it more difficult in 4.0? And his face was so priceless.
Yeah, this was his face where he was like,
Really? Easy? Easy. And in my notes, verbatim, when I saw this in the notes, I typed they're setting us up for failure. He said, like, the note said, Binding of Binding Coil Bahamut was too easy. Alexander's too difficult. What are we going to do now? And his words verbatim,
I trust no one.
No one. And I'm glad. Good. Don't trust anybody. These hoes ain't loyal. Don't fucking trust these hoes. They don't know what the fuck is good for the game. They don't know. They don't know.
However, he said they're kicking around an idea on the floor of once you have cleared the current tier of Savage content, there may be some super hard stuff that's
special content. Yes,
no complaint.
And that's good. And that's good. And you don't get to complain about it. Yeah, he said no complaining. You do not get to complain about this shit. This is the shit you asked for. Don't complain. If you completed the hard content, good. You get a cookie. Now go do the hard content and just don't fucking complain about it.
Yeah, he's real tired of this question. Because
exactly.
He's learned there's no happy medium.
Too. Because you, like the community, you just ask for hard shit, and then you say, "Oh my god, no, we don't need this ball."
Stop turning into Kevin Hart.
We don't need this ball. Oh my god, no. It's too fucking hard.
They want to have it be accessible.
Yeah, and I like that answer. It's like we want to make Omega accessible for all players. I get it. It's good, and then the top tier are going to say it's too easy. And that's fine. They're making the content for you. That's fine. You can go do your content. You just don't get to complain about it. And there will be a percentage of people who will complain.
I'm not the only one his audio just cut out, right?
Yeah, your audio.
You're out of here. I thought it was me for a second.
I thought it was me who muted him. Nope, now I muted him. Now I've unmuted him. I think he broke his microphone by yelling into it.
I'll pull the Gordon Ramsay and broke my microphone. But you don't get to complain about anything. Anything. Like, really, as much as you've done with 3.0 and A3, and it was like, oh my god, it's too hard. Oh my god. Like, it's too hard. Make it too easy. Don't say shit. After you get the unlocked content and it's too hard for you, just don't fucking do it. Seriously. You have a choice. You can do the content or you can
not do it.
Yeah, exactly. And then there will be people who complain and say, "Oh, it's too hard. It's too fucking hard. Why'd you make this difficult content?" You don't have to do anything. You really don't. You don't have to do every bit of content that this game has to offer.
No, I need to do every animal weapon according to them.
Yeah. You don't have to do every animal weapon. You don't have to do Lords of fucking Vermilion. You really don't have to do every bit of content that this game has to offer. You pay your own sub. You get to do whatever the fuck you want to do.
You don't pay my sub.
Whatever the fuck you want to do. If you don't like it, don't do it. But you don't get to sit there and complain at the content that you can't do.
Sly, you don't pay my sub. You can't tell me I can't complain.
Fuck you.
Got him.
Fuck you.
If can and will complain, they will complain. There's nothing we can do about it.
Exactly. Next question was, can we get Kryl's outfit on the Mog Station? I love how at this point we just ask them to put it on the Mog Station because we don't even want to bother trying to ask them to put it in game.
Yeah.
And they said that would be quite difficult because apparently her outfit was only designed to fit around her character model, and they would need to develop assets to make it fit around every character model. Whereas a lot of some of the other outfits weren't designed that way. Like when they were designed, they were generic outfits that you can replicate in game, so it was a little easier. And then the newer ones, when they developed like the new Y'shtola and the new Thancred, they developed them from that way from the beginning. So
are we going to talk about the Empress of Mog Station? How she exists?
Yeah, the goddess of the Mog Station.
The powerful Empress of the Mog Station.
There you go.
That Yoshi P has an answer to.
Yeah, and she said that only if everybody buys it.
Yeah. You'll promise to buy it? You'll promise to buy it?
Are y'all buying it?
Yeah.
Are y'all buying it? It's just like such a lukewarm. That shit's not happening. So, yeah.
Yeah, it could.
But seriously, out of the four of us, I'm just going to go ahead and say no. Would you buy it?
No. I play male characters.
And no, because I don't buy anything for myself on the mock station.
Okay. All right. So yeah.
The only reason I have an Odin mount is because somebody else bought it for me.
This shit ain't happening. 9 out of 10.
There you go.
Yeah.
Next question. Will future Hildebrand quests once again feature trials? And they didn't even answer the question. They literally didn't answer the question.
Indirectly, they did. He said, look, we weren't planning on putting Hildebrand in Heaven's Ward until we started seeing the feedback from A Realm Reborn. We're like, oh shit, I guess we have to do it. So
that's a different story.
Same thing this time is that they weren't planning.
That's a different story.
In Stormblood until they saw the feedback, and so now they're so basically he said no because they haven't been putting the resources into it.
Exactly.
They've been just running with it consistently based on demand versus having sitting there and being like, all right, let's plan out like they didn't sit down with Hildebrand in 2.0. Okay, let's develop 3 expansions worth of quests for him and keep that ongoing.
Yeah,
exactly.
And then Koji pointed out that he flew off to the east, which we all know.
Yeah.
But that doesn't answer the question. And I'm under the impression that it's going to be more along the lines of what it was in 3.0, which is just
exactly.
We're not going to get any trials, which I'm really wanting. But yeah, it's going to be comedic relief. That's all it is.
The thing is, if they were going to have trials locked, you'd have to do all the Realm Reborn Hildebrand, all the Heaven's Ward Hildebrand, in order to get at the 4.0 Hildebrand to unlock the trials, right? So what, you're going to have like a Hildebrand jump potion? No.
A jump potion only for Hildebrand.
Yeah, it gets you caught up to level 60 with all the side quests done.
Right.
Just add it to the story one.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Probably
not at this point. Not at this point.
Nope. Unless they make trials that are like after you beat Hildebrand, there's there's this trial on the side that ties into Hildebrand in a sense, but you don't have to do Hildebrand to access it.
Sure.
There you go. That's like the only way you do it. And then if you've seen him before, he's like, it's you again. And if not, he goes, Spry Adventurer.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay, this next one.
This was the best reaction.
Yeah, so Yoshi P, can we get, I know, there's the whole don't ask, don't tell about the add-ons. Oh, that's a bad word. Can't say that. Can we get an in-game parser that shows DPS to ourselves?
Oh, I didn't get the memo. Yep, he literally got up and walked away.
You were supposed to be the Koji Fox who says stay.
Oh, I was supposed to be Koji Fox?
I figured
you're the lore guy.
Yeah, you're the lore guy.
Mm-hmm.
You've let us all down.
Yeah, pretty much.
There was no memo, by the way. None of I planned that for myself, and
yeah, me too.
Sidebar here, real quick. Why the fuck? It's the same questions every time. There's always this question. This question always comes up.
This question will always be asked until it actually fucking happens.
Why don't they filter out the questions? There's no
because they pick them randomly out of a box.
They pick them randomly out of a box. That's why.
They should be going through the questions and saying, all right, this one's been asked a dozen fucking times. We're not having that one again. It's just tedious. It's like we know the answers to so many of these.
Mm-hmm.
I like how he just said, I love when he goes to English to reply, because that's how you know he made up his mind a long time ago.
Yep.
No.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's so fucking amazing.
Give me a name!
And he's like,
No.
he's like, listen, guys, I understand you just want to see your own. I understand you don't want to see other people's. You just want it for yourself.
But the thing
what's going
is,
to happen is people are going to be like, link it to me now, or I'm booting the fucking.
what's your DPS? And there are those raid leaders who are exactly like that.
Well, that's the thing. Is that
the raid leaders that do that? Guess what the raid leaders are doing? The raid leaders are already using ACTs.
That's what I'm saying. Now, your raid leaders are already using a parser, so they know what it is. They don't even need to ask you. But the ones it's rare. It's gonna be really rare that you have a raid leader who's on PS4. If you do, hit me up on Twitter. Let me know that you have a raid leader on PS4. I really want to know this because 9 out of 10, your raid leaders on PC. They already know it to begin.
I'm sure there's a bunch of raid leaders on PS4.
And you know what those raid leaders on PS4 do? They get their co-leader to be on PC.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
But yeah,
it would make it worse. It would make this kind of harassment worse.
To me, it doesn't even seem like that's actually the main problem anymore. It seems they're more afraid of people backwards engineering it and going into the actual game files and numbers and adjusting them.
And I'll put this out. Corvanus in the chat says, use a Stone Sky Seas calculator. That's different from the actual encounter. No, that's just a fucking dummy.
Mm-hmm.
It's so far in between.
Nothing.
And it means nothing because you don't have the dodge shit. You don't have to do mechanics. All you're doing is hitting a mindless fucking dummy. It's two different things. Yeah, you can have really good DPS on Stone Sky Sea, and that'd be fine. But if you can't do mechanics at the same time that you're doing DPS, what the fuck is that worth?
Yeah. A9 Savage is what Stone Sky Sea should have been.
Yeah, pretty much.
Maybe we'll get
Basically.
that. But so what was interesting is, and to be fair, considering we've seen abuses like the spell speed hack in the game, I guess I can kind of understand giving people even easier access, but that's why you develop it as a separate tool. It just reads information that doesn't access the main game files. That's kind of,
And see, and another thing about Stone Sky Sea, you're not getting fucking cards.
Your DPS is so wait. Your
You're not getting
DPS
fucking balances on that shit.
Your DPS is so low. Even the Stone Sky Sea dummy is using Soar.
Really, Ramsey? Yeah.
That's right.
That's another thing about Stone Sky Sea. You're not getting fucking cards unless somebody is there behind you, which I don't think they can even affect it. But yeah, while I would love this as a PS4 user, I would love this. This is like the best idea. It's not gonna happen anytime fucking soon. Sorry, I'm not sorry. I'm fine. I'm fine. I have a group who puts their shit on FF logs after every fucking run. It's fine.
It's fine.
I'll take it.
Fine.
I'll take it.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
So they said they had no plans for this, but they said that they are currently in the process of creating some sort of system where you can attempt something and then retry it. If you
Then
don't
do
it
something
right.
and then something. All these somethings. Yeah, there's something in the works. It's not like it's. I think it's going to be. It's going to be something that's so indirect, like Stone Sky Sea.
Yeah, it's going to be something like Stone Sky Sea.
It's going to be something like Stone Sky Sea within an instance, and it's not even going to even matter. Because
For me, my first thought when I hear that is I remember a lot of the training modes in fighting games where they'll give you like a basic combo and you have to execute it properly, and when you do execute it properly, it goes perfect. That's what I think of. Like
so it's going to be like DDR of fucking 14. Perfect. Poor.
What are you doing? Stop.
Stop.
Do you even have legs?
Are you even DPSing? What are you doing? No.
Dude, I love the dude who insults you
Why
on the
are you
DDR
doing
machines.
single target Ring of Thorns? What the fuck? Just stop.
I love the shit talking guy in the DDR games. Do you even have legs? That was horrible. You should kill yourself. He just
You should kill yourself?
That guy is savage, man. Well,
You should kill yourself? That's really what they said?
To be fair, I modified the DDR version to what your average Redditor would say to somebody who does 600
It's actually
DPS
just one of
online.
your final scores is just KYS.
KYS.
Oh my god.
There you go.
Oh my god.
That's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get that guy. They're gonna hire that guy from 20 years ago
I hope so.
for this.
I hope so.
Yeah, so the next thing, would it be possible to keep plants and pods in permanent bloom states? It's in the patch list. It's coming.
They've actually done it. I was like, oh my god, who cares about this? He was like, yeah, no, we've done that. I was like, what?
See, here's the thing, and I never do this, and I always say I would actually fucking do this.
Yeah.
That I would actually send in a question for a live letter, because this is like, I've always had the fishing question about, releasing a script fish that doesn't have the what should we call it, the number that you need.
Right.
And because if you decide no, you still keep the fucking fish. and it's just a worthless fucking fish.
I don't want the fucking fish. Yeah.
I don't want the fucking fish. You should be able to release the fish that doesn't have the collectability that you need and still keep on going. But whenever you see the collectability and you say no, you still keep the fucking fish. Don't keep that fucking fish. Be able to release that fish.
Free. Let it live its life.
How about we get a fucking tackle box?
That's what I've been saying for the longest fucking time. That shit's not going to happen.
So nobody's lost. So nobody's lost, by the way. We skipped question 11 because question 11 is, are you working on a PS4 Pro?
Yeah. That's fine. Yeah.
Because then we had the garden pot question, and then we had the umbrella question, the Mary Poppins question. So the people,
Mary Poppins. It's me,
out.
Mary.
Get out.
They didn't know who you were talking to.
Talking do. Talking do.
Yeah, so they were like, we're going to get umbrellas for Glamour. And he was actually...
Mount.
Can you believe that? He was like, oh yeah, no, we're working on that as a mount. It's like, what?
Yeah, they're going to make it so that, like, when you're on the ground, it pulls you, but then, it can, like Mary Poppins, it'll pull you into the air. So, Mary Poppins umbrella mount incoming, guys. All he wanted to know is should it fly straight or should it
just
spin?
stop.
And
it's going to fly straight.
Apparently, flying straight was the consensus.
Yeah.
There you go. So there you go. Seems like they wanted to. They were considering if there were another way. If there's another way to add it, but adding it as a mount was the simplest because the system's already there in the game. The problem is you just wouldn't be able to use it in zones where you can't use mounts. Would be the one major downside. Are we getting Pals of the Dead in the cross-server party finder? Put that on the list of questions they've asked 3 times before at this point. The answer being they are working on it. Yes, they said that they were working on that quite some time ago. They said that won't be ready before Alliance raids being ready.
But they also said that they're working on cross-world tells.
And they said that tells would come before the Link Shell and Free Company thing.
Nightmare! Cross-world tells? Are you kidding me?
My friends list has...
This kind of goes hand in hand with the whole app news. The app, their response to the app. So I don't know. In a way, it seems kind of contradictory because they're still working on the app, and this would the app would mix all of that all together. If it includes cross-world functionality within the app, then why even mention it?
My main concern is what I like about Gilgamesh is no bots can make or no RMTs can make characters on my fucking server, so I don't get RMT tells. And when I log into other servers, it's not the same story.
There's going to be like 10 times the number of harassment claims.
My friends list is full with 200 people on the server I'm on.
Same.
I think Crossworld FC is a pretty sweet idea. I'm into that.
And crossover link shells, I agree.
Yeah, I reckon that's a good idea. Fucking crossover tell? Nah.
I would hope that you could choose to just not receive cross-server tells.
No, I'm sure.
I would imagine that that option would be available at the get-go.
For the love of Jesus, please, don't. I don't want crossover tells.
No.
I do, in a sense, but at the same time, because if you're going to do crossover link shell, crossover free company, you got to be able to do all of the options that allow you to directly contact somebody. Kind of doesn't make sense to have it. I think it's funny, though, that we'll have crossover tells, and I still won't be able to do them in dungeons. At this point, if you could do crossover free companies, you could do crossover link shells, you could do crossover tells. How long is it before I can either A, send a tell in a dungeon, which you've pretty much undone because that was pretty much the whole reason you couldn't do it in the first place, and 2, sales, cross-server sales have to work at that point because you got to imagine people are being able to trade with each other.
Oh, for sure.
Yep. And then the markets, and then you also, I mean, here's the thing, they could still make it so you can't trade because then there's the concern, then you have markets on one server feeding into markets on another server.
This would ruin markets all.
They'd have to still have trading disabled throughout all of this.
Yeah,
that would be a mess.
Because otherwise it's a disaster.
Yeah. I was about to say, even in a instance, when people say, "Hey, I don't have any pots. Here you go." No, it wouldn't work. So
nope.
I agree with that.
Nope.
I agree with that. But
That's great. Somebody made us a GIF of the walking away for the in-game part.
yeah, I just saw it. That's what I was looking
Great
at.
on Twitter. And then then that was the Q&A part. That was the first like hour-ish of the live letter. It's quality questions. And then
Quality questions.
Now I remember why they stopped doing Q&A for the majority of live letters. Why they just like have their agenda now that they just go through. Yeah, it's pretty normal. So they clarified a few things about the upcoming 3.55 and 3.56.
Wait, you forgot a letter.
That's where I was getting to that, Sly. I was getting to that. So 3.55A releases on Tuesday, February 28th.
Next reset.
Which is a week from today.
Yeah.
Now that patch is going to conclude, and for anyone who was unsure, even though it says that the saga has ended, the final anima quest, even though it says it's over in the last one for some fucking reason, we have one more, and it's a victory lap, and it should increase your item level one more time.
Now, how long are we thinking this is going to take? Are we thinking we can complete this in a fucking day? Or...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
People did the last step in a day.
Okay.
I'll take that. There was no mention of the Umbrite nerf, but we have from previous sources from them stating it that the Umbrite nerf would come. So we are expecting to see that this patch as well. Slyh Aliapo custom deliveries, which is for crafters and gatherers, where you deliver items to NPCs and they like you.
And here's the thing. Now,
They said that's in the future.
Yeah, and this is in the future. Here's the thing about Slyh. Now, I remember when Chloe came first on the scene that she had a little Makote, I would say, friend around the same size as her. This is a grown-ass Makote.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking this
either
is
an older sister or a mother.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. And so it's new content for crafters and gatherers. I have no fucking idea how to describe it.
And the thing is, they expanded a little further and said that this is going to have its own backstory. So the more you complete with Slyh, the more you get further into Slyh's backstory because she is in trouble and she needs your help.
And on top of that, you'll learn a lot about the characters you're delivering these things to. So it's almost like the new Moogle deliveries in a sense, but this is there's an actual, there's gameplay here. It's not just run NPC to NPC kind of deal.
I'm calling it now. She owes Rowena money.
No fucking surprises there.
I actually had that in the note. That she owes Rowena money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good shit. High five day.
Everyone owes Rowena money. I've never taken anything from Rowena without giving her something back, and I probably still owe her money.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just fucking.
The next thing, which we fully know about, Proto Ultima. And we actually get details about this. We are getting 270 accessories. Do you think these accessories will matter in the form of some of them?
I imagine that if there's a Vit ring in there somewhere, it's got to be better than one of the two Vit rings that you guys have.
Yeah. All right, that's what I was asking. Do you think one of these will be actual best in slot?
Yeah, there's got to be someone, or there's got to be a handful of these that end up just being better itemization. They weren't entirely clear how many accessories there are.
Yeah, they just said 270 accessories. Yeah. They just said 270 accessories, and the one thing they said, they're not even talking about how to encounter Proto Ultimate in patch.
So that's interesting because we got to see the area where you fight Proto Ultima. Assuming they keep using the same area, it looks like it's just a massive.
Why not?
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, I was about to ask you. If any of you, I don't remember the area per se because I was just focused on the fight. Do y'all remember the area? Kind of put that to a location, maybe.
Putting it to a location is hard because it looks like it's literally a massive rock that's just floating out in the darkest parts of the Sea of Clouds.
Well, it looks like Azazla.
So,
yeah,
it's in Azazla.
But it doesn't just look like Azazla is the problem. It looks, the atmosphere in there is still unique to some degree.
So are we on the consensus that this could be completely random in terms of the location that it could be?
Well, here's the thing. I'd like to imagine that what they're hiding is the lore reasons we're fighting. Because Odin's lore, they kept completely secret from us until we actually.
But we always see him in the Shroud, and even once we got the actual fight, he was still in the Shroud.
But they explained why, because the sword possessed somebody and ran off, and we don't seem to be able to hold that fucker down. Nobody even goes to fight him anymore. So.
It's not inconceivable that Proto Ultima could tie into the main scenario and that he could be like defending.
No, I agree.
It's just that I feel like he just doesn't want to tell us where, because there's its own little tiny side story quest, and it's not like the wandering minstrel. Proto Ultima has been there. The only other thing I can imagine is that his entrance to fight him doesn't appear until after you defeat that stupid fucking Fate in Azazla. Which I don't want to imagine, because that sounds like a horrible experience.
No, that would be terrible. Oh my god.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So next thing, Feast.
New Feast maps. Now keep in mind when we say maps, it's because the one map has a 4-man version and an 8-man version.
Yeah. So it's really really you could say one map.
It's one map. We made this mistake with the original Feast launch where we saw there were 2 different maps for 4 and 8, and we were still like, maybe. No, we're not making that mistake again.
But we are getting some new things. We are getting some new items and adjustments, of course, naturally. With every season, we'll get adjustments. But they're adding something else. Now, I don't know if you three have experienced it. I know I've experienced it.
Oh, I've experienced this. Don't worry.
Okay. All right. So, if you have the same amount of medals at the end of a match, it is usually a draw. Nobody wins. It doesn't affect the point count or anything. Now, sudden death. There are the same amount of medals at the end of a match. You go into sudden death. And I like this idea.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of those feast. I was never a fan of feast matches ending in a draw.
Yeah, me either.
Because the thing about sudden death that's exciting about that is culling time will take effect. It's inevitable.
So you're saying that culling time, from once we start sudden death, it's going to be culling time.
Well, regardless, if it doesn't start right away, if nobody dies, eventually culling time.
Yeah, culling time will hit eventually, and then that'll be it. It's going to run the complete thing. So yeah, I get what you're saying. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the third season is about to end, and then season 4 preseason will begin shortly after.
Yeah, season 4 preseason will probably, from what I understand, they've given us no other reason to really believe that season 4 would begin before the expansion was out. But what's strange is they talk about how season 4 preseason is to analyze things for balance, but that's all going to change. In the expansion, so
it is.
So I'm curious to what degree. There's plenty of time to run a 4th season. There is enough time to run an entire 4th season before the expansion comes out.
Do you think they will?
I mean, I think it's. Well, because because here's the thing. I'd imagine that once level 70 is the cap, and whatever the fuck they decide to do with PvP going into level 70, who the fuck knows?
Yeah,
exactly.
That I'd like to imagine they'd like to do a preseason after PvP is available at 70 and analyze that before really going into another season.
Yeah,
I guess you could analyze the map in the season 4 preseason.
Yeah,
but overall balance is tough to do with an expansion around the corner.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I think they'll start a new season with the expansion. I'm sure they will.
Yeah,
crazy knowledge.
And then the final thing they talked about were a few additional updates. One, the goddess and demon burbs will be getting a slight raise in drop rates.
Do you think that's going to be the totems too?
Maybe.
Wait, what do you mean by totems?
Traded 99 totems for the mount.
So are you saying that they will drop the number of totems that you need, or what?
No. The same way the other ones work now, where if you get 99 totems, you can just trade them in for.
Oh, okay. So I agree. The Garo gear will be reobtainable via the Calamity Salve.
Because it's not fucking you can't put it away in a goddamn armoire, so.
And I remember that. Okay, and this is something that we might have glossed over, but Yoshi P actually did make a few apologies. One being the MGP Garo armor is still not available. and
They
that
said
will be
that will be in 3.56.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So soon.
very soon. And then the Senecan Abes and the High Summoner attire will be available
On February 28th. The big thing is that the reason why this is patch 3.55a is because about a week ago they were testing shit in the diadem and they found a game-breaking bug inside of the raid inside the diadem. So they decided to push it back. They said they don't know. They're going to try to fix the bug ASAP. They said 3.55b could be, the first week of March, second week of March. They'll let you know.
But so the 7th, 9th, or the 14th, but hopefully the 7th.
But they were just like, it could be the, it could be the 7th, or it could be the, it could be the 14th. That was, it was like a super uncertain, answer. Like, but we'll fix it. All right. When it's fixed, it'll be in there. All right. That's the best we could do.
Yeah. There was a certain raid and something kind of happened.
Yeah. They said it just broke. Just straight up broke.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, man.
And
there was a certain condition that just like killed everyone.
Diadem, more like delayed them.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean,
And then if you thought that was pretty much it in terms of all the things that was going to happen in the live letter, no. Because we had some Guinness World Records for 14. The first one being the longest end credits at 1 hour and 38 minutes.
It's crazy.
We did it, Reddit. World first. World first, baby. Woo!
Wow.
I'm a part of that. My name's on there.
Me too. Yeah.
High five.
Yeah.
Woo!
High five.
There you go. I looked at
Yeah,
your
I'm not a part of
elbows.
that. Yeah. I'm not a part of that. I didn't. I came.
Now, just to be clear, that's longest end credits in an MMO because I believe Mighty Number 9 has the world record for any game ever, which is about 4 hours.
Oh, because of all the
Because
backers.
of every single backer is like who, is in the credits.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we have the next one, which is most original pieces of music in a video game. At 384 original compositions, which Token came on stage.
Yeah.
Tokens came on stage and accepted for. Naturally so.
384 original compositions, and they still have more to come.
Yeah.
That's great. And it's all great.
And I made sure that somebody made me a GIF
I'm so jumping.
of Soken, Soken jumping. I was like, somebody get this to me.
That's so good.
And luckily, the internet did not disappoint, and as such,
Of course.
I do have said GIF available for you, and I'm gonna put it over Sly's face.
Well, thank you.
Well, I mean, isn't that an honor to have Soken jumping over your face?
I guess.
Dream come true.
How you doing?
Too hot for Twitch.
There you go. See?
How you doing? Question mark.
Perfect. Perfect. His microphone. He knocked his microphone out in the process.
Yeah. I remember that.
There
That
you
was
go.
awesome. And then we had one more award, Guinness World Record for, and this wasn't really a 14 one, more of a Square Enix one. Most prolific role-playing series. Now this one confused
Final
me.
Fantasy, yeah.
For Final Fantasy. This one confused me. Because when I read the award, it said 87 titles. Happy, can you explain this one to me, please?
It's fucking, there's shit tons of, we were already going over these Nintendo titles earlier. Crystal Chronicles Explorer.
Yeah.
All those fucking things exist. There's so many titles.
87
I think
though?
to be clear, there's a lot of fucking games, dude. Look, Final Fantasy 7 alone is like 5 games. Final Fantasy 15 is 2 games technically with a King's Tale.
And I don't think that's even.
They're counting. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay, they're counting.
And then I don't know what, then you have Mobius, you have Brave Exvius, you have Record Keeper, you have Chocobo Dungeon 1, Chocobo Dungeon 2, who even the fuck knows if that counts. Final Fantasy Tactics, Tactics 2, War of the Lions, A1, A2, fucking Final Fantasy 12, you've got fucking Revenant Wings, you've got Final Fantasy 11, who knows if they're even counting all the expansions, you got 10, 10, 2, you've got fucking everything. I don't even know. And PSPs, Vitas, to all the fucking consoles and
everything
shit.
they've attached the Final Fantasy title to it.
Yeah. There you go. Somebody posted a link of Final Fantasy, the games.
But like I say, I'm pretty sure that is not counting ports and remakes.
Right.
And yeah,
Considering Final Fantasy IV has been ported like 11 times. Yeah.
I don't think it's counting ports.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much it. Yeah.
Well, you skipped over the patch 3.56, which we already know is the ending of the main story. And remember, if you do get bored before the expansion, make more animal weapons.
Yeah.
That was their advice.
And now I'll admit one caveat about this. Amy came out in her old Yida outfit. Oh, I thought that was cute. It's pretty cute. High five, Amy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Thank you, Sly.
There it is.
All right. So that's a wrap for all the major news. There were panels. There were the music panel, which was very well attended. It was very.
Mm-hmm.
Good, Sly?
Hold on.
Good.
Get my number ready. Just kidding.
Right.
Just kidding.
All right, good. Very good. All right. Anyway, on that note, there were other panels. There was the music panel, which was very good, by the way. They had the cosplay panels, and they had the art panels, and they had the PvP tournament and everything. But we'll be here all fucking day if we have to talk about every single thing. So we're gonna wrap up on a nice note. Something that came out of the European Fan Festival popped up on Reddit, and that is our new. By the way, for anyone who hasn't been paying attention, the top right, I've been changing the topics. That's part of our new thing.
Oh shit!
Woo!
So
cool.
So we have a new segment for Community Highlight, where we take a topic from the community, or we take something I want to highlight from the community, and we've done this in the past. We did the guy who plays with his feet, for example, that would be considered a community highlight. The play would be a community highlight. So we're going to be putting those into this, and this one's called "Love at First Kupo," which was at European Fan Festival. There was a proposal, which is not too abnormal. Our North American one had several. There was one on stage.
And you see some PAXs, actually.
Yeah, PAXs, yeah. We've seen a whole heap and a hell of a lot of proposals around Final Fantasy XIV. And this one was, there was a couple, one proposed at the picture booth, pretty much. And we love stories like that. So we want to make sure that we highlight those people and tell them thank you for, taking Final Fantasy XIV and using it to express your love. Because people do this a lot. I love how many people get engaged and get involved with each other through Final Fantasy XIV. Love.
And how many people meet through 14 and all that stuff. It's great.
Yeah.
Brings people together. It's sweet.
It does bring people together.
Listen, that you propose at the photo booth in front of hundreds of people with everyone looking at you, so they can't say no.
Good strategy at this. Good strategy. Or on stage.
Yeah, or on stage, yeah, and they can't say no.
They can't say no. They absolutely cannot. And the reason why it's called Love at First Kupo is because they showed the picture from the album that they took, and it's sitting on the Fat Moogle mount, the bench for the Fat Moogle mount, which is still one of the scariest looking fucking mounts in the fucking game. It's like somebody, it's like somebody took one of those fucking bed inflators and shoved it down a fucking Moogle's throat and just inflated it, or up its butt, one of the two.
How come we didn't get a Palace of the Dead bench at FanFest?
Yeah, where was the Hank bench?
Was that even out yet?
I think so.
I don't know. I don't think it was.
I don't think it was.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
No, I don't think it was, dude.
I think we said we wanted it, but Europe could. Yeah, there you go. That's it. I still want the Palace of the Dead bench at a fan fest. So
yeah,
I want that, and I want there to be a pumpkin, glass pumpkin. I'll have to bring my own glass pumpkin.
Yeah, bring your own bench.
There you go.
Yeah.
According to Cinna, it wasn't out yet, you fucking idiot.
Wow, Cinna. Thanks.
That's the official statement, boys and girls.
All right, there you go.
There you go. You fucking knob you. There you go.
You fucking muppet.
BYOP. Bring your own pumpkin.
Bring your own bench.
Bring your own bench. Yeah, BYOB. Bring your own fucking bench.
Yeah,
there you go. All right. Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap up this show for the week. Thank you for joining us. It was an excellent show, Merri.
Yeah.
Ethys, thank you for being our you fucking.
It's all right.
Well, Ethys, I know you can't wait to do the. I was going to invite you on the show where we break apart the world map. We talk about all the different aspects of it.
Yes, please.
I was going to, but the way you're acting
now you're not so sure.
I mean, I can
Because
go.
it was just all right.
I mean, the other you is right there. I could just ask him.
Yeah.
Sure, you can ask Merri.
Yeah, it's all right. We'll talk. We'll talk. I'll formally accept your apology off stream. It's okay.
I didn't apologize.
Yeah, I'll accept it.
Apologizing for shit.
Oh wow.
So on that note, let's see. Which one of you do I want to go first? Who's gonna say where they're from first? Let's do Merri first. Merri, where can they find you at?
I changed it. You can find me at youtube.com/verymerry. No more productions. That was pointless. Also, Twitter, very_Merri, and Twitch, very_Merri.
And Ethys.
Wait, have you stopped doing productions?
Well, no, but I just thought Very Merry's
It's a
easier.
shorter name.
Yeah, it's easier.
Yeah, it's catchy.
Mm.
You can find me on youtube.com/ethysasher, twitch.tv/ethysasher, or Twitter at FFXIV.
I think you spelled your Twitter name wrong.
Nah, that's right. That's exactly how it is.
That's exactly how it is.
What's up, Sly? Nice hat. Is that a Lakers hat?
Wait, what about this says Lakers?
I don't
Are you
know. It's
fucking
like an
serious?
He's from Australia. Let him go.
I'm from
Wow.
Australia. I don't know shit about sports ball.
He said it. It looks like an L to him.
I'll
It's
explain this. I'll explain this in post show.
All right,
I'll
good.
explain this in post show.
Good.
But
Good.
you can find me at twitch.tv/Slyh, aka Greyfox. You can find me on Instagram at Slyh, aka Greyfox07. You can find me on the YubTubs. I'm actually there. YouTube.com/The Velvet Room. And you can find me on Plat 14, Ward 5, until we get to 4.0 because we are moving. Moving to the country. Going to eat us a lot of peaches. Yeah, you can find us on Plot 14, Ward 5 of the Lavender Beds, home to the Foxhound FC. You can't, on Behemoth, you can sit with us. Please come sit with us. And, Happy, where can they find you?
Not at your fucking house. That's for fucking certain. Anyway, you can find me everywhere, Mr. Happy1227, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, IG, Instagrams, where I post pictures of food and cat.
The grams.
All the grams. Yeah, I think that's going to be a wrap for this week's show, gentlemen. So, everybody, thank you for joining us this week. We're going to move on over into post-show, which, by the way, in the post-show, if you haven't seen any of the screenshots, there will be a slideshow playing of all of the different stuff out of the press kit from from all three of the fan festivals. So, enjoy that while you listen to our bullshit. So thank you for coming by. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode, and we will see you next week. Until then,
See you next week!
I bid you adieu. Takes a while to switch because of all the images in the slide. It takes like fucking 15 seconds for the slide to actually tick over. Hey, look, it's the map.